Did it. And we're on. Sweet. Hey, we're just going to jump right in today.
We are.
Going to get started. No pre-talk, no nothing.
No pre-talk?
That's because I got to the
What about the intro?
What intro?
That's pre-talk.
Oh, okay. I guess it's faded away now.
What intro?
Oh, okay.
Do you have a theme song?
We do.
Yeah.
You want to hear it?
Yeah.
Well, you'll have to wait till the episode comes out.
Listen to it.
That's post-production. All right, everybody. Welcome to the Untitled Car Project podcast. I'm Rob Spring.
Jeremy Walt.
I'm Grant Gonzalez.
We're here today with John Vittone. John, thanks for being here.
Well, thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, we're really excited to have you
Oh,
because
God.
you are the project car guru.
I do have a couple.
Yep, we're going to get into that.
Okay.
A couple things off the top as per usual. Untitled Car Project on Facebook, Instagram, Discord, and Gmail. Just get them all out there at once. The Twitter is Untitled Car Pro because it just is.
Yeah, and join the group too, Untitled Car Project group on Facebook.
And Discord.
Right. That's right. I did say that.
Okay, I can't hear.
I don't know
You
why
need to
you
be
can't
quiet
hear.
so you can hear. Okay. Other thing I wanted to talk about. Did a little autocross this weekend with NWAA.
Nice.
John, did you not know that was happening?
Well, I know there's autocrosses every weekend.
Every weekend. You just got to look. Yeah. So NWAA, Northwest Autosport Association. We ran at Shelton. It was a good time. It was really good. Had a great time.
Sounds great.
It was fun. Got to test my car, all my new mods.
Oh, right.
Oh, yeah.
How'd you do?
Very good. It was not top time of day. There was a Lotus.
Top
there.
5? You hit top 5?
Top 2, top 3.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Good job.
I think it was third Sunday, second Saturday. Yeah, it was really good.
Who beat you?
Nice.
Some dude in a Lotus.
It was like a 70s Lotus, right? Or 60s Lotus?
Yeah, it was an older, highly modified white one, no top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A front engine little Lotus?
Yeah.
Little.
Nice.
Yeah. Like a little Esprit type.
I'll look it up. I
Anywho,
have it saved.
it was super hot. It was a lot of runs. I think I did 14 or 15 runs on Saturday.
Dang.
I did 12 on Sunday, something like that.
In competition?
Yeah.
Great. Oh, yeah.
They just run and run and run because they limit their entries to like 40 a day. And yeah, I mean, with only 20 guys in a run group, you can just keep going. So you run about like a 90-minute session and then rotate, do it again.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Pretty fun. Met some new people, met some people that were listeners of the podcast. That was cool.
Really?
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, absolutely. It was really cool.
So they just come up to you and be like, I know you. You're the guy from the show.
I was handing out stickers and stuff like that. And they're like, oh, that's cool. That's you. Awesome. You know? So, yeah.
What do you mean that's us?
Yeah. It is what it is.
Nice.
Yeah. So really had a great time.
Nice.
Yeah. So that was fun. Anyway.
I drove a Viper.
Yeah. You didn't come to the autocross.
I know. I spend time with family, though. And driving
You
cars.
weren't even going to be in there this weekend, and then you decided to skip out on racing.
Trying to process that. What?
Never mind.
You were going to be at Crow's Landing this
Yes.
weekend.
Yeah.
Yes.
When that canceled, you changed your plans completely.
Yeah. That's
So
okay.
there was
That's what he was getting.
Yeah, I was planning on racing, though. I wanted to go to Shelton or to Stars and Stripes, and then Liger ended up being...
What Stars and Stripes?
It's WMC's event at Evergreen Space Museum.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yep.
But Liger ended up having the...
Closer to the mic, please.
Liger ended up being the rear axle not misaligned, so...
Yeah, right. Yeah, you had a little trailing arm issue or something like that.
Yeah, it was the watch linkage had to pull the thing back and get aligned.
Right,
but
that's what it was.
got it all set up, so feels all good now.
It
that's
sounded
good.
to me like the panhard bar wasn't set up correctly.
I don't have Van Armbar.
Watts linkage.
Yeah.
Mm.
So, yes, it wasn't set up correctly. That's why you should have come up Sunday and drove.
Yeah, but I drove it on the weekend.
Oh, that's good. At least you got to do that.
And I think it's here, right?
Yep, Liger's outside.
Ooh,
Street legal.
nice.
Been a while.
Yeah.
And didn't you get a new set of tires and wheels?
Yeah, I'm running RE71s. I'm running 295s on there. And the Hoosiers I haven't got yet. I've got the R7s still.
Yeah.
And I've got those mounted on the 315s.
Did you dry fit them? Test
yes.
fit? Yeah.
So
In the back.
In the back they do fit.
Yeah.
Fronts don't fit.
Yeah.
So
you're gonna have to do some adjusting, or
yeah, I'm gonna have to
Hammer work.
not so much hammer
just
work.
right in the fenders. Just get under there with a 3-pounder and
Yeah,
beat them out, and it'll be fine.
yeah, exactly.
Don't mind those dimples.
Yeah.
But
Is it something you think you can make work?
I think
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to definitely roll the fenders, and I've got to get the biggest thing first is get the wheel studs in the front.
What if your car was stock height?
It would
no.
give him a little more clearance, but
Yeah.
It's not that.
It's
It's,
not
the
something you wanna
angle
do.
it's the angle of the strut right now that's in the way.
mm,
That's the big thing.
Hmm.
So if I could pull it back more, maybe, but we'll see.
Is it a strut type front end or dual A arms in the front with a
McPher-
coil over?
McPherson strut in the front with a lower control arm on the bottom.
Okay.
Yeah. So, pretty. After working on Antonio's Mustang, I found out, yeah, definitely is good that Ford went that route. Apparently, on the 90s Mustangs, they have a strut on coil, or coil on the control arm, and the strut on the opposite side.
right. Okay.
And that is a pain in the ass trying to get that
Yeah.
back. We went through 4 different sets of spring clamps till we found the right one that would actually work to fit it.
Yeah. No, that's kind of a nightmare.
Yeah.
That whole setup.
I know we found out why most of those guys convert them to coilovers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Much easier system to work on.
Oh, yeah.
More adjustment, all around better. I'm
Mhm.
quite sure of it. John,
Yes.
we're gonna go right into the deep end.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. Jesus, take the wheel. Oh, here we go.
Yes, sir.
First off, how many actual cars
Oh, God.
do you have?
I hate that question.
I love that question.
Approximately under 30.
Under 30.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Pretty sure.
Pretty sure.
Yeah.
Okay. How many actually run?
Probably right now, 5.
Oh, wow. that's a lot lower number than I thought. It
Oh,
would
really?
be.
Well,
Yeah.
like I said, they're project cars. It's
Okay.
It's not a collection. It's,
Well, that was my next question. I was like, how
yeah.
many are project cars? So pretty much all
every
of them.
single car I own is a project car.
Even the daily driver.
The daily driver, I just fixed yesterday.
Yeah.
Just
it's a good test. Let's
so
take it
I
on a 4-hour test drive.
Yeah, exactly. I otherwise I've been driving my big Dodge
Yeah.
as a daily driver, and that's not really too smart. And especially since I had that little XB, so I put that together. No one else coming down here. Spent all day on it yesterday.
Yeah.
Put a clutch in it and went through my transmission and changed my 5th gear ratio because I like to drive it about 80, 85.
Got it to where the RPMs are reasonable.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It actually dropped.
A little better fuel economy too, probably.
I don't know. I don't care.
Yeah.
You know,
well, I mean, it's
it might not be,
maybe a
but
sign effect.
It might not be better because it's loaded a little bit more now, but
Oh, gotcha.
I can cruise at 80 to 85 and it's not, the engine's not screaming.
Yeah, absolutely.
So before it was just buzzing and now it's not.
Do
right.
you think that car was good with a 5-speed, or it should have had a 6-speed installed?
The other option is to put a 6-speed in, but it really doesn't drop RPM. It just ends up with tons of gears.
Really?
But you can't, yeah. So the big drop is to do the 5th gear change, which it dropped 500 RPM, which is a lot.
But if you had
that's
more
really
gears,
good.
then you feel like you're in Fast and the Furious.
You're the only one that feels that way.
You're never going to feel fast and furious in an Xbox. It's like,
That's funny. You're just furious.
the toaster. If you try to go fast, you will be furious.
That's right. That's exactly right. That's so funny. What besides the XB is your main project right now?
The Miata.
Yeah.
I've gone all in on the Miata.
Can we go all in and deep on the Miata?
I went so deep in that Miata.
Well, I want to hear from the beginning.
Oh,
I
Jesus.
want to hear all about it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll
what-
give it a quick.
What did you
No,
buy?
not quick.
I dropped out of the top 10.
project stuff.
I dropped out of the top 10 because of the competition. It was great.
We'll get into that.
And I'm running my older Viper, and that thing started to act up. So then I just wanted to be back in the top 10 or 5 or something. And I just saw how Adam occasionally just kicks everybody's ass in that Miata. So
especially this year, he is.
Yeah.
Well,
he did it last year twice.
End of last year, yeah.
Mhm.
And then
He had twice. He did, in the last couple of years, he had a couple of fastest time of the day. So
Yeah.
without that,
he did it once this year already.
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
But I can't believe I'm actually doing it because
I
would
and
never have done
I
it.
can't believe it either because I really thought you would just fix the Viper.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm going to, but I have a feeling this thing should be faster.
it will be.
It's a parking lot
Okay,
race.
well, let's go. Yeah,
It's a parking lot.
An airstrip race, but yeah.
I feel like also I'm kind of responsible for the Miata choice because I remember where you and me at the end of the year were pretty inebriated.
Well, I think you found
we're
one, didn't you?
discussing for 2 hours about different cars, what to do, and
Yeah.
how to make them faster.
I recall that.
What was the ultimate fastest autocross
And we
car
kept
that
coming
you could
back
possibly imagine?
And we kept coming back to Miata. I argued for the Fiat for the longest
Yeah,
time.
It's got to be small. I mean, we could have a podcast on what's the ultimate theoretical fastest Miata or autocross car. It's got to be narrow.
Yeah.
And it's got to be light.
Yep.
And it's got to have a lot of power.
A lot of power.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've talked about that a lot. Like Miata's always the answer.
I might have made a big, I'm building this car up now, and there's mistakes have been made already. I think I've already made a big mistake by buying 4 big fat wide rims for it. And now it's about the width of a Viper.
No.
So
you got a lot of stuff sticking out from under it. Huh?
Yeah. So I think that was a step in the wrong direction.
Did you wide body kit it? It can't be much wider than Adams because he's done the same thing.
No, I'm running 15 by 11 and a half.
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty big.
That's big.
It's
you're gonna run.
It's the wrong.
Good
thing.
Lord, is that going to be 300 millimeter tires?
Yeah.
Larger because
315s.
Liger's
I have 275s.
On 11s?
What?
11 and a half, 275s. And I can go 295 also.
Those are
You can go with small.
stretched. You could go 315 probably.
Yeah, on my 11s.
But a 15-inch rim, I don't think they're available.
Yeah, the new 11-inch rims I got for Liger, it's comfortable. You get 315s on them. 290 or my 295s, I'm putting on a 9.5-inch rim.
Yeah, you could easily go 295.
Yeah,
yeah, you're right. 15-inch.
I have to keep to a 23-inch tall tire, so I'm completely limited to 2 tires.
Gotcha.
And that's the 275 and the 295 Hoosier.
Gotcha.
Yeah. How come you're limited to the height of the tire?
Because it's any more than
a small wheel well.
The whole Miata will. Yeah. Oh, I've cut all my wheel wells, but you just got to keep the car low to the ground, low center. I want to keep the car low. If I put bigger tires on it, I can't lower it, and if I try, the geometry will be all funky. So
if you want to get ultimate traction, you just replace tires and put tank tracks on them.
Let's back up. What year model?
I think it's a 95 Miata.
You think? You didn't really pay attention?
It's an NA. That's all you need. It's got the pop-up headlights.
Okay.
It has a 1.6
with
a turbo. And
you're sticking with the 1.6?
No, I've already bought a bunch of 1.8 stuff.
Okay.
And I'm going to build a billet bottom end so I can just crank it as much as I want and not blow the bottom end up.
Oh.
So I'll run
I actually thought you were going to go with a bigger motor.
Oh, we talked back then, and I think I concluded that a V6 out of a Camaro would be the ultimate because it's mounted farther back than the 4-cylinder, and it's twice as big, and it weighs the same. But I found out that motor is limited in horsepower because there's no aftermarket support. So
really? There's no additions to it. Like what you get is what you get.
There's one cam and headers and a little manifold spacer, but the most you could ever hope for is 300 to the tires.
Oh, wow.
And that's a big
I know we discussed about doing an LS swap or a 5.0 swap, but the 5.0 was too heavy. The LS I know is a smaller package.
Still, I wanted to go light.
Yeah.
So, but that's...
I can hear that. Banging on the chair.
No more of that.
Yeah,
banging on the street. Boop, 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 boop.
So, Nissan doesn't make a V6?
They do in the GTR.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah?
Well, they make the one in the 370 is a V6.
Oh, that too.
Oh, yeah, you're right. 350 and the 350Z and the
3.7 liter.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of aftermarket for that. I don't know what your current weight is.
It's going to be very light.
Well, I mean, yeah, but like your motor package, how much does it weigh?
Super light. I don't know.
Well, that's not helpful, John.
Well, I don't know, but I'd say that motor weighs, I don't know.
Less than 400 pounds.
Oh, less than 300.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So
that's the problem.
I want to keep it light.
400 pounds, yeah.
Like the LS motor is still heavy, but that's definitely, unlimited power.
Yeah. But with the 1.6, because it's such a small engine, I know there's like a million mods for Miatas out there. Why did you stick with that engine instead of something like a similar size, like EKG motor from like a Mitsubishi, right?
Yeah, that's a great
like
motor.
A 4-cylinder because they make 800 horses with just the stock bottom end.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, that is something to do, a Honda motor to get the big, but I think I don't think 800 horsepower would be usable at all. I don't think it'd go faster. I think I think my car is going to weigh under 2,000 pounds.
Yeah.
And I want to see 400 horsepower to the tires. And I think that's enough to come in first place.
I agree. In autocross, you don't need...
If you can drive it.
Yeah. Hey, well, that's always a question, right?
There is, yeah. I mean, that is definitely an issue. There's some drivers out there.
Yeah. My driving definitely could use some improvements.
So you're going to put aero package and all that on
I got it all.
All of it?
Nice.
I got it.
Already have it?
Yep.
Roll cage?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It comes with the roll bar, but I bought a cage and I'm waiting on an appointment to get it done.
Nice.
Oh, cool.
I'm going to have someone TIG weld it in. And although I'm thinking I might just do it myself.
What are you doing for brakes, suspension?
I've got giant brakes on it right now. I bought really big brakes all the way around.
Well, you only got 15-inch wheels, so they can't be that big.
Actually, they are. I mean,
for a Miata.
It's a 12-inch rotor, but there's only a couple of 15-inch rims that'll fit. Actually, I bought the rotors. I put the package on there, and all the wheels that came with the car will not fit.
Yeah,
that's why I got those race wheels on my XB right outside the door with RE71Rs on it. I drove down on.
Oh, okay.
That's awesome.
So I'm ready for autocross.
Right. Yeah, you're ready to roll it over.
John, I got to know, when you were building this thing, like say body-wise and trying to figure out what would work and how it fit, did you kind of already have an idea of like the size of wing and the front splitter and how wide you want to go? Or is it just step by step, be like, I'm putting this and if it works, then we go to the next spot?
Oh, no, I got a plan. It's going to be the ultimate autocross car as far as like I'm comparing it to Adam.
Yeah.
So as far as my aerodynamic package, I should have him beat because I got more of a front splitter, so more downforce in the front, and my rear wing is I feel is completely very optimized for parking lot racing, and from like 30 to 80 miles an hour, I'm gonna have a lot more downforce than Adam. So a lot of it, I just compare my car to Adam. So I have a better aerodynamic package than Adam. I have more tire, and I'm gonna have more power, and I'll be lighter. So
isn't Adam running 295s?
No. 275, I thought.
Okay.
Or 255, something like that, right?
Guess what? He won't be running much longer.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. He's running something smaller. He's definitely got a plan for next year that he's not telling anybody about.
We all.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, what you said a bigger brake kit? What brand or?
It's a brand by 949 Racing. It's a beautiful package. I should show you some pictures of it, but
I've never heard of that company before.
It's Miata stuff.
It's the top Miata package. They make their own kit. Big giant brakes.
Yeah.
Huge.
Suspension then.
Right now I'm on like what I call my stage 1 suspension, which is pretty economical coilovers with some pretty stiff springs.
Yeah.
But with the Hoosiers, with the stiff sidewalls, you want much higher spring rate, like real high spring rate to match your sidewall has a spring rate, and it should complement your springs on your car.
Right.
And I can't put big enough springs on my coilovers right now because the shock absorber cannot handle more than about a 600-pound spring.
Oh, interesting.
So I need
So you're gonna have to upgrade the whole package.
Yeah, I want like 1,200 pounders in the front, but I need a dampener that will actually control it. So that's going to come later.
Yeah.
It's going to be a kind of a 2-step process.
1,200 seems really high for a Miata.
Not if you got it's the common number, really.
Okay.
I think that Adam actually stepped up and bought the coils I want.
Oh, really?
And he's running 1,250 in the front.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. So he's running the proper springs for the sidewall.
Yeah. Interesting. Oh, that's cool. Stock clutch? What are you running for clutch?
Some kind of on and off clutch.
It's a light switch.
Yeah, it's a light switch.
Yeah.
Some metallic 3-puck.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
small one.
No, not.
Why are you being so cagey, John? Tell me what it is.
No. You're asking me all these questions. I just, trying to spit it out there. Being accurate. Got to think. It's hard sometimes.
Brain power.
He doesn't want you to know because he's going to...
I'm not building a Miata. I don't care.
He doesn't want Adam to know, okay? He knows Adam listens.
Yeah. Well, the next question is, when is it going to be ready? When are we going to see it?
God, I've lost motivation on that thing, man.
Oh, typical project car guy.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just like, you should see my projects. It's like, wow, you got almost done with that and then parked it over there.
Yeah.
I run into that problem all the time.
So it's for sale then.
No.
So
I don't sell anything.
So if Charlie says you can't drive his car anymore, will you regain motivation? Because I can have a talk with him.
Yeah. Yeah, I probably would have done something about that.
Yeah.
As soon as he said I could rent his car from him, it's like I stopped working on it.
Oh, that's dumb.
Well, man, I worked on that thing. So I bought it like 1 year ago, almost to the date. Mm-hmm. And I had that thing's been sitting on the 2-post lift. That's its house where it lives, on the 2-post.
You haven't even driven it yet.
I've never driven it.
Oh God!
You got all this stuff on it. Yeah,
it's been apart, man.
Well, is the motor in it now?
Yeah.
Is it ready to go?
Kind of.
Bring it this weekend.
Close. It's close. No, it's not ready. If it was ready, I'd be there. But more work. I just got to get motivated again. And
what's left? What's left to do?
Hardly anything. A little bit of electrical, a little bit of plumbing.
Stereo.
There is no such thing
as what?
As a stereo.
I didn't. Did I say stereo?
No.
My car is.
He can't help himself.
There's nothing on this car that is there. I mean, not a single bolt is there that isn't
not needed. Yeah.
So my car is.
That's how it should be, Grant.
No.
Yeah. I mean, there's no carpets. I made this thing super. There's no seat. My seats are bolted to the floor. There's no seat brackets. There's no seat mounts even.
Oh wow.
What about it doesn't slide?
So I can't see over the steering wheels.
What about?
I don't know if I can.
Yeah. What about a heater or AC? So like when they've got.
Oh, come on.
Well, because there's times if it's raining, you need to be able to remove it.
I mean,
of course, it's gutted.
Okay.
Because if it's raining, you need to be able to see through the windshield. Defrost it.
We're not really worried about that.
No.
There's a couple guys up there that don't have heaters.
That's true on that one.
Yeah.
And an AC just sucks power.
Yeah.
So.
That weight is gone, man.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you've added to the Miata that's just kind of unconventional or that people wouldn't assume putting in the car? Like, for example, an active aero system or brake ducts in the front or, radiators in the back for better airflow. Like, what on this project do you think is different with this Miata build that you've built than anyone else's?
I think my attention to detail on the lightweight. Mm-hmm. I have mounted, I mean, like I say, everything is taken off the car. And if there was a bolt sticking out, I ground the bolt off. There's no stud sticking out. There's no bumpers on the car. There's just nothing you could take off. And my weight distribution, everybody knows to like mount your battery low. It's like, man, I got my starter solenoid mounted low. I mean, I got wheel scales, so everything in the car I put where I want it. Even electrical devices are mounted low and toward the back. Everything that I can take from the front of the car, I put in the back. There's no headlights. There's no nothing. Are
you running an alternator in it?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so one of the things I've learned from an SCCA. Do you remember David? What's his name? With all the rally guys.
Yes.
Okay. Anyways, David had a Mitsubishi way back in the day, and it was a SCCA rally car champion car that was brought to autocross, and they removed the alternator from it and instead ran off neon or lithium-ion batteries. Just so it reduced the weight, and then as well as have
I do not recommend it. It was a troublesome vehicle.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're doing
I know
specific weight, I mean that's one way to do it.
Oh, I had a car. It was the
still don't recommend it. It's a pain in the ass.
It's a pain in the butt. And the car, a long time ago, I ran a BMW. It was like the fastest BMW in the nation, the national winner, and it had no alternator. You put a 17-volt battery in there, right? And you just run off it. You can't run a 12-volt battery with no alternator. So you put a 17 in there and you run off that. But then you got to plug it in between runs, and you should actually have an auxiliary battery to plug in when you crank it up.
Right.
I mean, you could. I mean, you're going to take the alternator off, but
it's not worth that.
Yeah.
No. I mean,
no. Plus, the alternator you can turn off you can put a switch so you can turn the field off, and it doesn't draw the power. So
That's not the point of it. The point of it is the
lightweight.
The
Yeah.
weight.
Yeah. But I still have a teeny little alternator, and I did my batteries in the back down low. I did mount my radiator in the back. See, all these things I'm saying, I didn't want to tell everybody.
Oh.
Not everybody, but Adam. Adam is...
he doesn't listen to this show. It's fine.
I realized that Adam is building his car up because of me. And he finally told me.
It's a competition.
I told him to watch out.
Yeah, I know.
And he actually started doing all this stuff to his car. And he's got some crazy thing going next year that is going to surprise everybody. I think he's going to do something so radical.
I just texted Adam.
I got an idea.
Okay.
John,
he's going to do something.
You should talk to Adam before this gets posted, because we're going to see him this upcoming weekend, and just say, will you do a gentleman's agreement? Do not listen to this episode, or if you do, listen past this time slot, because we know we're going to have Adam back on talking about his car was upgraded, and just be like, you won't listen to this, and I won't listen to yours.
Well,
no.
We could do that. We could do that, or we could just be,
let's see who throws more money at it.
100%. Oh,
I'm with you. Let's.
I've already gone
let's
with the
poke
deep
the bear.
end.
Yeah.
I'm over here trying to get the peace treated. You guys are like, fight.
Yeah, fight.
Round
Let's do it.
one, fight.
Yeah, I'm into it.
Yeah, he already saw my car, and then he started doing all this stuff to his
We all
car.
spend way too much money for tenths of a second. So yeah, I'm all about it.
Yeah.
I like how you guys are spending all this time, and then until we bring the ghost car there, and then that's just going to destroy the field.
Well, you have a lot of faith in that.
What is the ghost car?
We can't tell you yet.
That's our secret.
Well, you think it's going to destroy the field, huh?
Mm-hmm.
No, probably not right off the bat.
Not right off the bat. Not until I really get into it. Then we'll have a car.
He's got to get it running.
This isn't, you're asking me all these. I was being honest. I was answering these questions honestly.
We'll tell you that
it'll come out.
We'll tell you after the show, because we're trying to. We're giving hints to the audience.
Oh, so I can do that too?
Why would you do that?
What?
No.
Oh, okay.
Anyway.
No.
So you don't really have a timeline. You stopped working on it, like any good project car guy would.
Mm-hmm.
Just lost interest.
Man, I got a bunch of those.
So that was my next question. How many projects do you work on at once? You just kind of bounce from one to the next and move over here.
No. I keep like maybe, I'd say I have 4 cars going at once that I'm actively working on.
Yeah.
I had my XB up until yesterday. Coming down like a week ago, I knew I was coming here. So I went
motivated to work on it.
I actually picked up the parts for the transmission yesterday morning.
Okay.
My 5th gear out of a Toyota Corolla. And so I worked on it all day, got that done. And so that car now is actually not a project, but I have my old Blue Viper, which doesn't run because of either the motor shot or the wiring harness.
Well, those kind of
2 separate things.
2 really big options there.
I know. I'm gonna go back and re-diagnose that car.
Yeah.
And
so it doesn't start at all? Nothing?
Oh, it starts.
Oh, okay.
It starts poorly. It starts poorly. And there's just misfiring all over the place. Oh. But it's kind of hard to tell what's really going on. But I'm going to just start over and reassess the situation.
So what
fire pattern maybe?
Tell us about that car. What's the year? And
it's a 2001 Viper GTS.
Okay.
Got a what do you call that? A positive displacement Whipple supercharger on the top, and just a bunch of modifications. It's pretty fast.
Yeah, it's been a good car.
I love that car. I can drive it. I've had it forever.
Yeah,
I like it more than anything, really. I mean, even if it's not the fastest, I can drive it the fastest.
So you have 2 Vipers?
Yeah.
3?
Well, I bought one for my brother to have him fix it up, but it turned out it's not fixable. So yeah, I got another crash Viper.
Ooh, can I have it?
You don't need another one. Is that a frame damaged?
Yeah, it's only been. I knew it was bent 3/8 of an inch, but no one will fix it.
Aluminum frame?
Nope.
Why won't they fix it?
Because it's so beefed up. It's like 3 frames on top of each other, and like every 10 inches, there's a whole nother frame from the front to the back. Then it's all tied together with square tubing, and no one can bend it back. So to bend it back, you'd cut all this stuff apart and bend each piece back.
And nobody wants to take it on.
It
sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah, I actually bought a frame. My friend had a brand new frame. Never been in a car before. I ended up buying it from him. But now I just don't want to go through the work.
So you lost interest in that, trying to change all the stuff over to the new frame. That sounds like a great project.
No, I went to go get the frame knowing that I didn't want to just rebuild another Viper all that time. And then I'd end up with another Viper that's got a salvage title.
Yeah.
That
sounds like a great race car project.
Yeah.
Yes.
I saw online someone took a Viper and made a cart out of it. completely removed the body.
Like
welded-
shit car?
Yeah. So
Someone totaled one and
they told one, but they
Then-
took the whole body off and just welded a frame
Put like
attached to it, and just big tires and the engine. That was it.
Yeah. Interesting.
Mhm.
So, what about the other Viper?
the other Viper is my 2010.
Mm-hmm.
It's got pretty low miles on it, but I believe the rear end is defective.
Defective.
Yeah.
The ACR?
And since you never drove it until just recently, you just figured that out, right? I mean, that's
It's got about 3,000 miles on the car,
Right.
and the rear end is doing something absolutely crazy. Vipers, the Dodge or whoever, when they built the Viper, they like waited for the time to put all these stupid ideas together in the rear differential. So you don't know this, but Vipers all come with differentials that if you looked inside there, you couldn't even imagine it. It's like, and they don't work. So the only fast Vipers are the ones that have already gone through a rear end. So every Viper you see out at the track that's going all right has a rear end replaced because they came with some experimental garbage in the back.
so. Do you have to replace the entire thing or just the internals?
Just the
You put a wave track in it or something?
yes,
Or-
I had to wait like 6 months for a wave track
Okay.
because the wave track company, they didn't make all the parts. So they got time to put them all together for everybody, and they never did manufacture like one part. So it took me 6 months.
Oh.
And I have the rear end now.
Oh, that's good.
And then I got a ring and pinion from Jim Merriman.
Mm-hmm.
And, the ring and pinion has been in his silver Viper
Okay.
for like the last 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
And he returned that to stock. And so I got his gears. And
Nice.
so I'm going to gear down my car a little bit and put the wave track in.
Ooh, that'll be
And then
great.
I'll be back at the track.
Yeah,
So wait,
that'll be
if
really
the,
nice.
If the Silver Viper is burned back to stock, doesn't that mean it's going to break?
No.
Well, he just said all the differentials were defective from power.
Different your car.
Oh, when I could say back to stock,
Mhm.
he just put the gearing back to stock. He had already gone through his rear end and fried he's been through like 3 rear ends. He fried the stock one.
Yeah.
Then he fried an OS Geiken.
Oh,
And then he's now got a wave track.
okay.
Hmm.
No, that's a nice car too, though. I like that one.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
silver one.
And that's Kim's car now.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
So she's doing well in that.
Mhm.
Yeah. So what's the timeline on that? See, we're nailing it down because you've got so many projects. going on.
As soon as I can pull that rear end out.
See, you could probably do that one before you could get your Miata fixed.
Hey man, it's a toss up for me
It's
to
a
even
toss-up.
decide what to do. What should I work on?
Yeah.
You'll not work on any of it, and you'll just go to Arizona.
I'm doing that anyway, but yeah.
Probably.
I'll give you my opinion.
Tell me.
Finish the Miata,
Yeah?
take it to Arizona.
No.
Yeah.
I need to kick ass up here.
Yeah, no.
I need to beat Rob.
Mhm.
I need to beat Grant.
Trailer back and
You
forth.
beat me
You
all
got a
the time.
Dodge you can tow it down
No,
there with?
I got a couple cars down there, and
You
Jim.
got the Beamer down there, don't you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got Beamer. I got 2 down there, but Jim's going back and forth. So
Yeah.
I need a Viper. I need the Miata up here to kick butt.
Mhm.
I want to
We'll
be.
see.
I want to be.
So
I want to
you
get.
need to bring it out sooner than later. I hear
Alright.
all these threats of kicking butt, but
I know.
I'm not seeing any action.
I know.
Do
It's all been just
Can't
talk.
kick butt in a
Talk.
broken car.
It's a lot of talk.
John, do you think after this Miata is fully built, ready to go, and is quote unquote a finished project, is there going to be another car that you're going to build that can top that then? Or is this like it's going to be this and nothing else will be faster?
Well, if we can, let's talk. What's faster? What could be fast? What could I build up?
A Mustang.
Well, what could I
No.
build up to beat everybody?
He's already got 2. One
I mean,
scares me.
what would be faster? Give me a faster combination. It's got to be light. It's got to be narrow. It's got to be short.
I think when it gets to that level, it's on a whole nother realm. I think that's you either get to something that's more like a formula car or a supercar because there's only so much you can do with a road car to modify.
Well, I don't want to do a formula car because I don't want to come out there and beat you guys in an actual formula car.
That would be
because that's
fun.
not really
Nah, come on, that would be fun.
fair, right?
Yeah.
It's like John's beating
How
us there.
about an all-wheel drive car?
That's another thing.
I've thought about that.
Yeah.
That's
Like an Audi TT or something.
no,
like
an
that.
Audi GT, the early
You know,
Audi GT
yeah.
from the mid '80s.
Actually, I know a car that'd be good for John. That would beat everyone.
What?
An 818 kit car. Have you seen those?
I don't like them.
You don't like them?
No, I
The
hate them.
Subaru base one mid-engine?
I hate Subaru. I'm an engine builder, man. I don't want to ever.
You can-
Subarus are the worst.
Yeah.
They're the worst engine in the
You can
world.
put an EcoBoost Mustang. They can put any
Yeah.
motor in the back of it. But the fact is, it's all-wheel drive, mid-engine. It's under
Actually,
2,500
no.
pounds.
The 818 is 2-wheel drive.
No, the one that, well, it might be a different model, but the one that I was looking at is all-wheel drive still?
The factory 818 is two-wheel drive.
Is two-wheel drive?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Huh.
The one we were looking at, you and I were looking at.
Yeah.
I think they're $20,000, and then you got to have your own car to be
Okay.
a donor.
Let's just say though, if you took one of those and you did that as a brother and modified it so it could be all-wheel drive,
Why would you modify?
because it'd be all-wheel drive, it'd be different. And we're talking about what would be the best autocross car.
I just-
right?
I don't
build
think
it.
it would be.
No,
Even after all the modifications, you
No.
end up with a shit box that's
you're
no
still
good.
driving a Subaru.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to do a Subaru motor.
Yeah.
I mean, I like motors too much to be wasting any time on that.
Maybe an LS or something would be.
No, it's got to be lightweight.
No,
I mean-
it doesn't. Because honestly, John's building this car. I don't think he's going to beat us.
Those are just some fighting
I mean, you're
words.
putting down a big challenge, and I don't think you can do it.
Those are some fighting words.
Well,
No, they're not. It's
Adam's
factual words.
Ah,
Yeah, he has.
You know what? Actually, would probably be the best automotive car? Would be like a cappuccino or an AZ1.
yeah.
Something
Yeah.
like the small little, what are they called?
Not the cappuccino, something like that.
Yeah. And put 300 horses into it and put like 275 wheels. That would be awesome because it'd be so small for any autocross course. And it'd be so quick because it's like, 1,500 pounds stock?
I think that's the right formula you're talking for sure.
Yeah. I think that would be the next step after the Miata.
But I mean, I'm right now. I mean, I'm betting on the Miata. I couldn't think of a faster car. I wasn't limited by anything. So,
Do you think once this is built, it's going to challenge you as a driver to really learn it because it's going to be so intense and different compared to any other builds?
I think it's going to be easier to drive than anything.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I think there's going to be a learning curve. I
There
think
is.
Grant's right.
But you should try driving the Viper. That's the hardest car to drive in a parking lot.
I
mean-
throw me the keys. I mean, I've driven a Viper since I was 15, 16.
Yeah. Okay. We can do that. Any of you guys can drive my car, but
Especially now,
I would
'cause it
love to
doesn't
drive
run.
it. I won't push it that hard.
but you should drive my car. It's you might go. This is the worst car you've ever driven on autocross.
I'd be
track.
down for that. We should just one event swap cars.
We
You
should
take
go-
Liger and I'll take the Viper.
Anytime.
Okay.
Anytime. We should go on to the big track. So the cars, my Viper autocrossing, they're the worst autocross cars. But if you go onto a big track, they dominate.
Yeah.
And a lot of cars, I used to get beat by Z06s all the time in autocrossing. And like back when I was like 15th, and then all the top Corvettes are there. And then we go to like Portland International Raceway, and my car would just toast everybody.
Just because you have the torque, right? Down low
I
torque.
don't know what it is. It's just the handling. I mean, Corvettes are kind of scary at 130 and 40 because the back end will come out.
The
And
true rub?
No, not for mine, but
Yeah.
I don't know what he's talking about. I mean, everybody's different. Depends on how the car's set up. You know,
yeah,
if your suspension's wrong, if your geometry's wrong, there's all kinds of things that can cause that.
true. But you cannot really get away from the Viper's characteristics of a.
I was talking about the Corvette. Like, there's no reason it should step out like that. So
No,
unless things are just wrong.
Well, just like even autocrossing, I mean, the front end on any Corvette just digs so great.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's better. I mean, I've been working like 10 years on my car to get the front end to work like a Corvette does without any work.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but my back end sticks like glue, whereas Corvettes, man, they're like, that seems like as you're driving those things, it's like you're just paying attention to the rear end of the car. Whereas my car, all I pay attention is the front end.
Yeah, that's all in setup because I've had mine be really loose like that, and you can fix that. You can change it, but you have to be willing to work on it. It's all in your suspension and your sway bars and your toe and your camber. It can all change, but you have to be willing to work on it.
I work
in
on my
stock,
car constantly.
No. I'm talking about the Corvette. In stock trim, it's loose as hell. It'll come around. It'll come around on you right away.
Right.
Like, you really have to pay attention to it,
Mm-hmm.
but you can alter it to your driving style and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So.
With the Viper, if it's pushing in with the front, would it be better just to throw a bigger sway bar in it and that would fix it?
Bigger sway bar on the front? That would make the front end slide more.
The front end slide. I thought you said the front end was pushing. Okay.
If the front end is sliding or pushing, you'd want to put a bigger sway bar on the back.
Yeah.
To make the back do more work. That allows the front to turn more.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You good?
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to ask John about some of his other cars.
Oh.
So unless you got something else on that line.
For what line?
Okay.
I mean, I've got a lot of questions.
Well, bring them up as you come.
Okay.
What do you got, Rob?
You have some, at least one Barracuda?
I have 3 old Cudas.
3? Yeah. Same year?
70 and 71.
Oh.
Those 2 different years.
What kind of shape were they in?
My 70 is in pretty good shape.
Yeah. Is it drivable?
Yeah. They just finally made my gas tank kind of went bad. So I have a new I have to put a gas tank in it and a fuel inlet and a fuel line, but it's drivable other than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 70, 71, both in roughly the same condition?
Yeah, they're both in very good shape, really.
Yeah.
All original.
Nice.
All original.
Yeah.
But neither one of them will start right up at the moment. But
really?
Just projects. Yeah.
Yeah. Other stuff. What else you got sitting around? If you got like 30 cars, you got some stuff.
I got a question before we start.
Project cars.
I got a question before we start diving into each car, John.
What?
So when it comes to any car you've bought throughout the year, what is the
year?
Well, yeah.
No,
what?
I'm not buying anymore. I'm trying not to.
Okay. Well, when you were like getting like, cars after car, what was the goal? Was it like you find what you like? It was like I don't have something that acts like this when it drives. Do I need something more modifying when it go through? Like what was because. Was there a point where it was so you covered all your bases and then you went beyond that and so you're sizing down? Like,
well, a lot of it is that I'm a mechanic and I've always been a mechanic, and a lot of this is from when I didn't have a good job, I was buying cars to make a little money on. Mm-hmm. So I soon got tired of buying crappy cars like a Ford Escort, and I just started buying more Mustangs and Cudas and just trying to make a little money on the side. That's what it's all about.
Mm-hmm.
And did you flip those cars and do that, or did you end up liking them?
I mostly kept
held
them.
on to them. Yeah.
I kept all the good ones.
Yeah.
Well. Unless times get really tough, then I end up selling.
Yeah, I think you went through a spree there a few years ago. You sold off a bunch just to make room, I think.
Yeah. Just the idea of I realized I was like got the hoarding thing going on, and
yeah, we talked about that
so I had
last
to
week, actually.
sell 10 or 20 of them, and I felt a little better.
Yeah, I got a little more room. I can move around the shop now. That kind of thing.
It's mentally I can move around a little bit more too.
Yep. That's cool.
Was it ever when you entered like your shop, was it ever a moment of like overwhelming because of the amount of cars, or was it more of like, look what I've accomplished having all these here?
It was never look at what I've accomplished with my hoarding disorder.
Yeah.
I could see my psychiatrist over that, but
I don't know if you really want to fix that. I mean, it depends.
No,
if you're hoarding cars, that's one thing.
There was a point.
Somebody's going to find those one day.
Yeah, there was a point where
look what I found.
I was overwhelmed with them.
Yeah,
and started to feel like an anchor.
Yeah,
I had a lot of cars. I had like 80 or 90 at once type thing. And
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So that was too many.
Well, especially if it becomes overwhelming if they don't run and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just projects that you can't see the end of it. You can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. What am I going to do with all this?
Yeah.
I've had a few times I've entered my shop, and when everything wasn't running, that's when it gets overwhelming. Like there's a difference between, for example, going to my shop and seeing, for example, once I think I had like 6 or 7 cars not running, versus going to my dad's house and seeing all of his pristine cars, great, every fire up, ready to go.
Yeah.
And it's definitely a different mindset, but definitely like as the years go by where projects are being fixed and stuff come, maybe like Liger's running, Excursion's running, Lambo was running at one point.
Yeah.
Things were getting together, and it's
when you can see progress, it makes a difference.
Yeah, if you go out there and you only see work, it's not fun.
For sure.
And, get rid of all that crap.
It makes it hard to focus in on just one and plugging away at it, and then you feel like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Why is there?
It's like you could live to be 300 and not make any...
not get anywhere.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, it's not fun anymore.
Yeah, at one point I remember looking at this stuff going, you know what? I have to live like another 100 years.
to get through this.
So it's like, it's not going to happen.
So Grant kind of touched on it. Like, when did you start? Was that the catalyst for getting you into cars? Was that the starting point? Is like it was just a side gig at first, or
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so. I think I bought my first car when I was like 13 with paper route money. It was like $35. And
that's awesome.
I don't know what the idea was really back then. That was a long time ago.
It was just to buy a car at that point.
Yeah, I think my dad was into cars. He actually went along with that, and I don't know what the deal was.
What happened with that car?
I sold it.
What was it?
It was a 1959 Corvair.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
After that, I bought another Corvair for $50.
Flat 6.
Yep. Opposed 6 thing. Yeah.
Yep.
And so that was it. Mostly just playing with cars.
Yeah.
Then you just get into it. And like I say, making a little extra money.
Sometimes. Not everybody does it for that, but...
When did it become the point? Because, John, you've told me you're a Mopar guy, right?
Yeah.
When did it come to the point of that's when you decided you're a Mopar guy? Because you start with a Corvair. That's
my dad. My dad told me all about Chrysler cars, how they're the best made and the best engineers.
So you were brainwashed.
Maybe so, because he never drove one.
Oh, that's hilarious.
He only drove Cadillacs because he said Chrysler doesn't know how to build a luxury car.
Well, that's probably true.
It is true.
Yeah.
It's
interesting. Yeah. So you just kind of stayed on that line, never really.
Yeah, and then once you have then I started buying the e-bodies, and then so once you have lots of parts, you want to stick with the same brand.
Yeah,
just makes it easier swapping parts back and forth. You said you had some Mustangs though at one point.
I have. Yeah, I've had
still do
several. I have 2 Mustangs now.
What?
A Saline and a SVO.
What years?
They're both Fox bodies.
Yeah.
So they'd be like 88s or something like that.
Yeah.
Mid-80s,
exactly.
late 80s.
Yeah. So one's the SVO is a turbo 4-banger.
Yeah.
And then the Saline is a centrifugal blower on a 302.
So let's talk about that.
Why don't you bring that out?
Huh?
Why don't you bring that out?
It's a monster.
I should. It would be the greatest.
Wait, you should bring it. I want to see that.
Which one do you want to see?
I want the Saline.
The Saline. Okay.
Yeah.
So
the Saline would be a wild ass car.
That'd be fun.
Bring it.
Yeah, it's
that SVO. I think we've talked about in a previous show. I think I called it an RS. That's the 2.3 liter Mustang that's turboed. That came with more horsepower from the factory than the 5.0 was putting out.
Yeah.
So the power to weight ratio was insane.
Yeah, my SVO no my hey I'll get my
But they started making a series for the Europe Mustang I have for a spec class. So all stock. And it's supported by SCCA right now. So that's one thing. If you ever wanted to get into it, they started doing it and it's starting to take off.
I'd want a different spec car.
Yeah. A Miata.
Well, that's not a spec car. But, I don't know.
I don't see the horsepower on this, by the way.
It's up in the top in very small letters.
Yeah. I might have to
It's not much. The 5-liter Mustang only made 210 horsepower. So that makes like 230 or something.
Very bottom paragraph, Jeremy.
So back when you were 13 buying your first car, your Corvair.
Yeah.
Like, did you start working on it right away? Did you start modifying? What was your first car mod? It might not have even been with that car, but
it was not on that car.
Okay.
Oh, maybe it was. I put a black racing stripe over the rust.
Oh, super modified.
It was a rust. It was a rust strip. So I had to paint.
Did you use some Krylon rattle can it?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. My first mod ever was probably on my 68 Charger. I bought that when I was 15. It was a 440 RT.
That's a lot of car for a 15-year-old.
Yeah, I crashed it the first day.
Oh. Damn.
And but the first mod I made, I think I put air shocks on the back.
Oh, okay.
That was cool.
You get a little lift on the back.
Yeah.
Get that nose down.
So I could, so I could put some big tires on the back.
Yeah.
So
go ahead.
This says the 85 made 205 horse, but 248 foot-pounds of torque. That's impressive with that lighter motor in it.
Mine's modified, and it's the most fun car I have. It's really the funnest car. It revs so fast, and it's a modified turbo and a modified motor with a cam. So what makes it fun is it goes from like 80 horsepower to 350 in a second.
Wow.
And the good thing is it really doesn't go that fast. You can like have all this crazy shit going on and really not going that fast. So you're not going to die right away.
So it's got that T5 transmission.
Yeah.
Is that kind of a weak link in that car?
No, that's a
T5
perfect tranny for a 4-cylinder. It's when they put it behind the 302s.
Well,
it's the same tranny.
Turboed car though.
No, but see, my Saline makes about 4 times. I don't know how much power it makes.
Okay,
500, and that thing blows trannies left and right. I get like 300 miles out of a tranny.
Really?
Yeah, and I just bought
what kind of transmission you put in?
And the only reason I get 300 miles is because I don't floor it until I get about 300 miles on it. So it pretty much blows.
Huh.
Yeah, when I've blown up, I've shut down the racetrack before. I used to drag race it, and I've shut down all of the tracks that I've been at.
Oh wow!
It blows, and you
just sounds like a challenge, John.
Well, the T5. And
bring it.
right now, after like 5 trannies and at like 300 miles on each tranny, I got all the guts from G-Force, G-Force tranny.
Okay.
So inside it is just so beautiful. The inside of it is, everything has been replaced with custom. All the gears, the countershaft, it looks like black chrome in there.
Oh, really?
And that's supposed to take like 600 horsepower.
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't floored it yet because I think I might just blow that one.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I got a killer tranny in there right now. So, but I've never floored it because I just don't know if it's going to blow right up. But it's the first time I've had one that's fully built with, and all my trannies that have blown out,
Mm-hmm.
I see what breaks. So I replace all this stuff with everything that rips out.
Yeah.
Everything that rips out. I got to tell you, like when you undo a 4-speed,
Mhm.
you get your drive shaft out, your cross member out, and then, you get your 4 bolts that hold the tranny right to the bell housing.
Mhm.
And then you got to slide it back about 7 inches to get it out.
Yeah.
The last time I just undid the last bolt, the tranny fell straight down. There was nothing left sticking out of the front of the tranny.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So it's just shredding input shafts then.
It breaks everything. It just breaks more. Every time you replace a part with a part that won't break, it just breaks another part of the tranny.
So you got to replace it all at once. I mean,
that's what I did last
because
time.
you're just chasing it at that point.
Yeah, I don't know what I haven't blown this one up, so I don't know what to chase next. But I've heel quit everything.
Well, bring it out and we'll help you.
If it does blow the transmission again, let me know, because I know there's several transmissions that'll fit in the Mustang that can take horse's power.
Oh, I know, but I didn't want to take it. I could easily upgrade to a bigger
T56 or TR60.
Yeah, but I just want to stick with a T5.
Why would you trade it out? Because doesn't the car scare you anyway?
I wouldn't trade it out unless it blows.
Right.
I mean, like I say, I got a brand new tranny in there, and it should be the highest horsepower thing. So I think it'll probably be all right. The only time it blows up is when I put like slicks on it, and I heat them up, and then I go to the track, a drag racing track.
Yeah.
And then, all that traction. And then I didn't know it for a long time, but it's the shift in the third that blows the tranny, which is unusual for trannies. Mm-hmm. Usually it's first gear blows or something, but I just realized, everybody knows this except for me, but you just can't. It can take first gear, second gear, fourth gear, but if you power shift third, with slicks.
Is it too close to second?
No, I think the third gear in a T5 is right in between the bearings. So things flex.
Yeah.
So there's no bearing support by that gear. So when you pound it, the countershaft tries to go away from the input shaft. And I don't know what happens.
Strips it.
It strips the gears and it splits the case.
Oh.
Then all the lube comes out.
Yeah, I think I'd be upgrading. I mean, you never drive the thing. I've never seen it, but I think I'd be upgrading to a T56 or a 6060.
I just didn't want to put the money into it.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. If you don't use the car, that's one thing. But I think you should bring it out.
You're
not driving anything else.
If you get to a point where you don't want to put money into it, the best way to look at it
Grant will buy it.
Well, not only that, is just always keep an eye out.
Come get it.
Okay. But it's best to always keep an eye out just on Facebook or whatever. See when parts come available. Like, for example, I never considered at all putting a 6060 TR660 transmission in Liger from a GT500. But I happened to found one on Facebook Marketplace that just happened to be at the right time, the right price. And for going from a transmission that was only rated for 360 horses, maybe 500 if really built up, to one that right off the bat was 650 horsepower or torque rated.
Did you get it?
Yeah, I got it. It's in Liger.
Oh, yeah, a 6060?
A 6060, yeah.
That's great.
From a 2000 that one's 2012, no, 7 GT500 transmission.
Wow.
So, but that's what I'd say is, because you got to consider, like, you don't want to buy it. If I was to buy the same thing, like, say, a T56 Magnum is probably comparable for my Mustang. That's a $4,500 transmission with everything else. You're about $6,000 into it.
Yeah.
And there's a point where you're like, I don't want to drop that much money into the car because, like, for example, if I was to buy a stock, 4.6 liter Mustang, you're spending $10,000. So you're already, $6,000-7,000 into it just with the transmission.
Right.
But when you find one for, say, $1,000, $1,200, just because someone need to get rid of it or whatever, that's when it's worthwhile. That's when to put in.
Yeah, for sure. No, I don't blame you there at all.
I agree.
It's a good upgrade.
Yeah.
Fairly inexpensive. So you told us about your first actual modification to a car, your shocks.
My air shocks.
What was like your first full project car? Like you decided to take on this build of sorts. Now, it doesn't, could be motor
A full
transmission,
build?
could be just more extensive project. You knew that this was going to be more than just changing air shocks
I think switching over to a manual tranny. I've done that so many times.
from an automatic.
Yeah, I've done that a bunch of times.
What was the first one?
A CUDA.
Oh, yeah?
70 CUDA.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like manual trannies.
Did they have?
Yeah.
Did the CUDAs have? I know the original ones had the push buttons. The 70s one didn't have a push button, right? Transmission.
CUDAs
And
didn't have
automatic.
that.
Yeah, the early 60s CUDAs.
Oh.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the A-body CUDAs. Yeah, they
Yeah.
had that weird lever with the buttons.
Mm-hmm. But the 70s didn't have
No,
that. Okay,
no.
so traditional, just kind of automatic
Right.
transmission. Okay.
Yeah. So I said that was probably a pretty big project, and I made it way bigger than it needed to be.
How old were you when you did that?
16.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
You got in early.
Thank you.
Like not all of us had that experience to be able to modify
Yeah.
and change things out and do big car projects at that age. I mean, there we go. Some people did.
Yeah, I definitely got my time working on cars.
Yeah,
a lot.
no, that's awesome. Yeah.
When you were starting to work at that age, did you have a mentor to help you, or your father, or was that you grabbed a book and started going, or just take it apart? How?
Hot Rod Magazine is that all there was.
Yeah.
Carcraft and Hot Rod and
Yeah.
popular hot rodding.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, my dad wasn't into doing the work.
He just liked to
he liked
drive.
cars, but he wasn't. We didn't work on them.
That's still really impressive to go from magazine to transmission.
He showed me how to change spark plugs. That was about it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's just a mechanical person, so you take it apart and you kind of pay attention and you put it back together and you say, that's not right. And then you do it again.
Oh, man. I remember when I first started taking things apart, man, I couldn't put them back together.
Yeah, yeah.
I remember it started before that. I remember, God, I feel bad about this, but we had this old cabin. I must have been like 8 or 10 years old. And I don't know if this car was abandoned or not, but I took the carburetor off it and I brought that thing back.
Somebody else's car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Neighbor's car.
Neighbor's car. Yeah.
But I remember taking that carburetor back to the cabin and I remember sitting there taking it all apart.
Oh my gosh.
It was just like a 4-barrel. I took it all apart into 100 parts and there's no way it was going to go back together. So I just dug a hole and put it in the dirt and covered
Buried
it up.
it. Oh my
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Your
like,
dad never found it.
No.
Right? What happened to the carburetor? On
Where
this
did
thing?
what is that and where did it come from? No, I got away with it all.
Somebody's
I dug a hole.
Somebody going to dig it up later on and go, look what I found. This is crazy.
Someone's going to come open their hood. What the hell?
Mhm.
That's terrible, John.
I know. I feel bad about that.
That's really funny.
I
Though.
used to take apart a lot of stuff and not put it back together. I still do that, I guess.
Yeah, right? Yeah, I've lost motivation. I can't put this back together.
No.
So what drives you for projects, though? Like, is it... What's your motivation?
Well, that's changed.
Yeah.
You know,
Changed
during my
over the
life.
years, yeah.
Now all I want to do is race my car.
Yeah.
So I don't really want to work on cars. So I don't want to work on cars. I used to just love working on cars. I used to work at a car dealership and I used to come home from work and go right into the garage
Yeah.
and work on my car because I just loved it. And but now, absolutely not. I just want to, and I've worked on everybody else's cars. I've built up so many race cars for other people. I always wanted to be I guess I was a race car wannabe guy, you know, just definitely built up a lot of cars for other people, built race cars, put in roll cages, but never had one on my own. But now all I care about is spending time on the track.
Mhm.
So that
But you got to build the car to get to the track.
right.
So that's
Yeah.
your motivation now.
Yes. Okay. To answer your question,
Yeah.
my motivation is I just want to be out on the track screaming it,
Yeah.
just banging gears, trying to get a free T-shirt at the end of the year.
That's an expensive T-shirt.
Oh, it's yeah, I probably, it cost me a lot of money for those T-shirts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It cost all of us a lot of money.
Yeah, I know.
I don't count those pennies. I don't want to know.
No, but you know when you like put a few $1,000 in your car to
Yep.
just get a little trophy, it's like, okay, that was an expensive trophy.
Absolutely.
But the feeling
But
feels
it's
so good.
fun. I mean,
I love it.
we don't do it for the trophies. That's ridiculous.
Mhm.
No.
No, I just want to work my way back up.
Yeah.
I used to be at the top.
Yeah, the
No.
motivation is to do better and that kind of stuff, and
Yeah.
and you've lost the want to work on it, but you have the drive to
Yeah.
Beat.
be better.
I like working on this Mazda was a lot of fun. I take the whole car down to the chassis and
What Mazda?
The Miata.
Miata.
Okay. Oh, that.
Yeah, so that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But then I just kind of got burned out. I took it apart too far, and I just mentally got burned out.
It's so close, though. It sounds like it's so close.
It is
almost ready.
It is.
You gotta get some motivation.
Oh my god!
Finish it up.
It's probably a few hours of work.
Oh, that's terrible.
I
Come
know,
on, put a weekend day in and go.
I know.
You're retired. You don't even. Every day's a weekend day.
It is. I know. You're right. Thank you, though. Thank you for getting on me.
Yeah.
You're right.
I'm going to be texting you every day. Have you worked on the car? You need to have that thing out before the end of the season. You can do that.
If I got spare time, I'll come up and help.
Okay. We'll see what's up.
You don't have spare.
I'm down to just the little gnat's ass stuff. A few more wires, another sensor.
Do it. What's wrong with you?
Huh?
What's wrong with you? Do it.
Oh.
He looks exhausted for everybody. He's just like, I don't know. I can't.
Yes, what's wrong with me? I was going to start listing it, but no.
So
I was going to tell you.
Switching gears.
Okay.
John, can I ask you a personal question? You said
It's
recently.
going to happen anyway.
Wow. Yeah.
You can ask. I might not answer, but go ahead.
Valid.
You were saying recently you said that you would work on cars and you love working on it. And then you would at the dealership. And then as soon as you would get home, you still keep working on cars.
I'd go right into the garage.
How did you balance that with personal life? Because that's definitely an issue I've been having to try to balance with myself with all my projects I have.
Uh-huh.
And do you have any advice for someone who's like trying to balance with a social life, a family life, but also being very involved with the cars and their projects?
I have no good advice. I
was going to say, are you sure you want to ask John this question?
I'm not married. I have a couple girlfriends, but let's see. How would I advise for you?
Mm-hmm.
Well, what kind of issues are you having? You just want to spend too much time out there? What are you not happy with?
Grant works all the time.
Okay, so what you want more of a family, more of a regular life, or
Grant wants to start a family.
Yeah, that's the big thing. Eventually wanted to do that, and
this podcast took a turn.
I know. Yeah. I didn't realize we were doing
we do
therapy sessions.
Yeah. I can answer these questions. You cannot be going out in the garage as you have to make that a priority. Mm-hmm. So what you're telling me is you haven't really made your personal life a priority. Your social life is not a priority. Mm-hmm. It's the garage thing. Mm-hmm. Hard to say. I don't really have any advice for you, but I spend a lot of time on my car. I don't have a full-on family, but I find people that go along with that. You might take a couple girlfriends. You might need more than one. But
that doesn't lend itself to having a family. More than one girlfriend.
Right. If you want to have kids, if you want
that's not going to end well.
If you're looking for kids, that's it depends on what you're looking for. You want a family and kids?
Yeah.
Well, then you might as well sell your cars now, or get close to that. You got to really make it a priority.
Yeah, and I think that's for me right now is getting to a point where, like, I haven't bought more product. I mean, a project comes to me, but I'm trying to focus more on some, and so. When I meet that right person.
Yeah.
And because I want to put my whole life on hold and choose to find someone. If someone naturally comes to me or I find great. But I still want to be focusing on, what I'm working on and all that jazz. But once I do settle down, I want to have it more narrowed down for what I'm more passionate about, what cars I'm more into, what racing I'm more into. So
and it has to be a balance. And honestly, that's where it is. Yeah. And the person that you get involved with has to be okay with that.
Yeah.
And that needs to be set out from the get-go. It's like, you're going to have to give some of your time to that relationship for sure. But she also needs to realize that this is part of your life that you don't want to give up.
Yeah.
Okay. That's where the balance is.
I could add to that also. I agree. And what makes it easier is to not have as many projects. If you have 15,
absolutely.
Yeah. If you have 15 projects, there's a bunch of time involved. So let's say you meet some woman and you go, "Hey, I'm into cars, but I want a relationship," and here's my cars. I have my shop here, and I have 2 race cars, and
I sleep in my shop every night, and
and
I get home about midnight.
Yeah, and I spend $1 million on the property, so I can have $1 million shop, and I have like 65 cars here. She's not going to be too into that,
right? Exactly.
Yeah, if you're,
that's a rare find if she is.
But if you could make it small and not make it look like you got to make her feel like she's not second.
Exactly.
And you've got to actually not have her as second.
Yeah. No, exactly. And that's why I find that right person is going to be my number one for sure.
So if she's not spending, the after hours in the shop with you, you need one project.
Yeah.
Or a different girlfriend.
Yeah.
I would get a different girlfriend.
Yeah.
Someone who's into cars, who wants to hang out with you in the shop, even if she's in there reading a book.
That's the ideal.
Or knitting. I've had girlfriends come out and just hang out with me, and
I find that great. I mean,
yeah,
you don't have to do anything; just be there with me.
Yeah, and they don't have to be in the cars. They can be out there doing knitting or whatever they want to do, just hanging out with you.
Yeah.
So you want someone that accepts that. They don't have to be into it like you, but you probably want someone that will go to the track with you. But
yeah, and enjoy the atmosphere and the camaraderie and the people and the friends, and it's a big family. So ideally, that person's going to be into it with you too. I mean, it's a valid topic for all project car guys. This is not really out of the realm of what we do. You've got to be able to make that balance, but it's a give and take on both sides. It really has to be. So, and it's not easy to find. Really not. And it doesn't matter if you're project cars or if you're into motorcycles or you're into boats or whatever it is. All of that stuff, you've got to have that balance no matter what.
Yeah. And if she's spending time in the shop with you, you better believe you better be going and spending time doing stuff she likes to do.
Yeah, that's super valid. Yep, absolutely. It's that trade-off. Yeah, it can't be fully one-sided.
Yeah.
Very, very difficult to find, difficult to maintain.
All right, back out of the therapy session.
Okay. So switching back to cars.
That got deep.
Yeah. So I got one more question, John, on the car subject, because we were talking about with racing and being competitive and winning. But you've also talked about being on the big track and drag. Like, how many currently right now are you competing in, or that you like to compete in for racing wise?
Right now, I'm not competitive down in Arizona because of the power of my car. And I have another car that I want to bring down there that I will be competitive. But
name it. What is it? Come on.
Another BMW with the LS motor.
Oh,
right now I'm running 300 horsepower. I want, Jim and I, we joined the racing league down there, whatever you want to call that.
Okay.
And it was like 5 or 6 races for the year. And after 2 races, I realized I'm not going to play.
So you were driving an E36 with 6 straight sixes?
Yeah, built straight 6.
Okay.
And Jim has his with a little supercharger. So we both entered. I don't know what he was thinking. And we never talked about it. I'm sure me and him, he just wanted to be on the podium before me. And that's all I really cared about.
Yeah.
And, but my car, after 2 races, I realized that I'm never going to win anything.
Just can't keep up.
Yeah.
Just don't have the horsepower.
So I just backed out. And, I'm there all the time. We belong to the track, so we don't have to pay anything. So it didn't make sense for me to go there and pay money to go back with a whole bunch of people, be restricted to when I can go out, because usually we go there and we run the track kind of. I mean, we go out and we run as much as we want, and everybody there takes care of us. So it's like our track. And so why go there, pay money to be told when I can go out, when I can't go out, and then everybody's just blowing by you. So that's, I'm not racing in any series right now. I just want to put in my laps. I put in more laps than anybody out there.
Okay.
I run my car harder, and
but so if
I like putting in lots of laps.
Okay. But what kind of racing have you done in the past then as well? Like you said, you did drag racing.
I drag raced for 10 years.
Okay.
That was competitive.
Okay.
Going for the trophies.
Was that your first foray into competitive driving? Was it drag racing?
Yes.
Okay. When did you start doing that?
Probably when I was like 17.
Okay. Pretty early.
Yeah.
But I mean, you were already into cars, so it seems like a natural step, right?
Yeah, and I was building my friends' cars by then.
Yeah. Cool.
So then I started drag racing. Did that for about 10 years. Made probably 2,000 or 3,000 passes.
What was your most competitive car you had when you were drag racing?
Competitive? Probably my 1969 GTX.
Okay.
It was the only full-on real drag car. Everything else was, a street car, drag car. But this was a full-on, fully built motor, 617 gears and tunnel ram and, drag motor. That was competitive. I won some money with that.
Nice.
Yeah. beautiful, big, giant car.
Yeah.
4-speed, of course.
How is that community like?
Huh?
How is the drag community like?
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
Is it anything like autocross?
Autocross is a small. When I was drag racing, there was hierarchy of people. The head guys, there was the favorites, so that wasn't too cool. I wasn't a favorite, So
it's a bit bigger too, isn't it? Like the turnouts are quite larger than what we get for our standard autocross.
Oh yeah. There's different classes. So I had my class.
Sure.
There was probably like 30 people in my class.
Okay,
but it was fun.
Yeah.
I'll tell you how I got out of drag racing is I had my 70 CUDA. And I drove over to Bremerton to go drag racing. And, I pulled up to the drag strip like I always did. And I saw all these cones out. It's like, what?
Really?
What's up? It's like we're autocrossing. It's like, what? What's autocrossing?
That was your first.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so
And
cool.
I said, what can I?
In a CUDA?
I had a drag CUDA.
That's awesome.
I was going to drag race.
Yeah.
And I showed up at the track and, I couldn't believe it. I never heard of it before. And I asked them if I could do it. And they go, yeah. And I go, can I uncap my headers? I didn't know. So that's what I do. I undo the headers. Didn't need to do that. But that's when I found out my car handled like shit.
Yeah. I can drive in a straight line really fast, but I can't turn it.
I can turn it, but the car just do donuts.
Yeah.
So that's how I did my first autocross.
Yeah.
That was my very first autocross at Bremerton.
Nice.
Interesting.
It was fun. I remember at the end of the day, we had a 8-car drag race.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I helped clean up all the cones.
Yeah.
And we lined up 8 cars.
Across a airstrip.
Yeah. And I've been to this drag strip many times, drag racing, but this time we took off and we headed out, all 8 cars, and a few of them start fading back,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm with like a couple cars, and we ran that sucker out there until we saw airplanes. Taxiing around.
Yeah.
It's like,
maybe we should stop.
yeah. It's like I've been here so many times, but I've never been like a half a mile down.
That far down.
And so we just turned around and went back and got the hell out of there.
That's funny.
Yeah, that was my first autocross.
That's really cool.
When did you go back? When was you, did that hook you right there?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah?
Yeah, it
That's
did.
awesome.
Then I got hooked up with BAC, which is Boeing Employees Autocross Club.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, is that still around?
It is.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
It was that was a good club. They had wheel scales. You could borrow scales from them and all this cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so I raced a BMW back then.
That's awesome. I didn't know that it existed.
I was talking 40 years ago.
Yeah. Well, Rob just said it still existed.
It does. Yeah.
You bet.
I know some people that run it. Yeah. I don't think it's as prevalent as it used to be, but they're still there.
Yeah.
I think it's harder to get into. As an outlier, you have to be invited to go to their autocrosses. But yeah, still there. So that's cool.
Yeah.
So did you drop drag racing altogether? Or did you kind of do a little bit of both for a while?
I did both for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, I ended up getting one more. I finally got my full-on drag car after that autocross.
Yeah.
And, slowly tapered off the drag racing. Finally, you start thinking about how much time you got into it and how much time you get to run on the track.
Oh, yeah.
And then how I'm breaking parts all the time. And like, okay, I get a 12-second run in and get about maybe back then you could do like 25 runs a day, but still, it's just.
That's hard on equipment.
Yeah.
It's very hard on equipment.
Yeah. Have you sold all your drag cars?
Yep.
Yeah. Except the Saline.
Actually, that 70 CUDA I told you that I drag raced, and I actually still have that, and I turned it back to a street car.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it looks like a good little street car now.
Nice. Oh, that's cool.
70 CUDA with a 440.
Yeah.
So that's only like if you're running 12-second runs at 25 of them, that's still only like 3 minutes of driving in a day.
No, don't even say don't do the math. Don't do the math. It's
barely better than autocross,
right?
Honestly.
No, it's worse because autocross, at least you get
that's
about 5 runs, and it's about a minute a pop ish.
10 minutes a day. It's dumb. It's just dumb how much we pay to do this.
You know what? You guys are so right. That's why going to the track and going around the track really is.
I agree. That's what hooked me on time trial.
Time attack?
Yeah.
I mean, no, you gotta like.
It's awesome.
It's hard to.
You actually get time on it, like 20-minute sessions. You can get 3 to 4 20-minute sessions in a day.
Yeah.
One day I'll get there. One day.
I wonder what racing level gives you the most seat time for your money.
Oh, I
know
exactly
that.
know. Sim
Hey.
racing.
No. No, real time.
Endurance.
Endurance stuff.
Yeah.
Or maybe
For the money, it would be like the chump class or the
Right.
lemons.
Lemons.
Yeah.
it might even be karting.
Oh,
I don't know. Their sessions are pretty short too.
Are they?
Yeah.
Well, not necessarily. I know they do endurance karting, or they used to.
Yeah. Anything endurance is probably better, but
True.
You
I
can
don't
get
know.
a decent
I
kart
think-
for $6,000.
I think for the cost, time trial is pretty good. Really.
actually, I think just lapping is
Yeah.
that's
But it's
competition.
not, it is, but you're not getting timed. You're not actually getting scored. You're not
Right.
supposed to be racing anyone, even though everybody gets a
Right.
little spicy out there.
Right, but that's seat time he's talking about. But
Yeah.
competition.
Yeah.
I guess it would be what you're talking about. Time attack.
Yeah.
But
I really like that.
Jim and I, we belong to that track down in Arizona, and we go there all the time. And that's where you can go out there for so long.
Yeah. For
They
seat
used-
time.
They used to be like 20 or 30-minute sessions,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't call us in anymore.
Yeah, just
and
going.
there used to be all these different groups,
Yeah.
like the A, B, C, and, different speed groups.
Yeah.
And we've been out there so much now that they send us out on
Just
the track.
whoever.
It's the most amazing thing to be out there. And if I'm always out on the track, so
Mhm.
I'm just lapping for like ever.
Yeah.
And so they'll send cars out. That's pretty amazing to see in my mirror, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, full on like, the fastest thing, LMP,
Yeah.
Paul Tracy.
Mm-hmm.
He's got like the fastest car at our track.
Yeah.
I got the slowest car at the track. I actually,
Scion?
no, my BMW. I mean, everybody
Slower.
has super fast cars, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're all super fast, and a lot of them can't drive that well. But they got these. Everybody's got a $200,000 or $200,000 and up is what everybody got.
Mhm.
Up here in Washington, there's all these Miatas. Down there, it's
We're into our economical racing up
yeah.
here.
Well, down there, it's all the top of the line Porsches, all new. They're all 200,000 to 300,000. They're just lined up like Miatas.
That makes
And-
it even better because when you go there and you beat them in a car that's not $200,000.
Oh yeah, Jim can chase down some serious cars, and he can make them feel pretty bad. But I'm not quite there yet with my car.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, you still need a little bit of horsepower.
Yeah, I
in
do.
order to do that.
Might be different with that LS, though.
LS, I'll be killing everybody.
should be fun.
I'd take on everybody with that.
That should be fun. Yeah.
But
That's
to have
cool.
that L.
Is that car ready? Is that one done?
No, not yet.
Yeah, of course.
Engine's not in it. If it was done, I'd be driving it. But
Is it up here or down there?
it's up here.
Okay.
Mm.
In your shop, waiting for the lift to be clear because there's a Miata sitting on it.
No, I just got the Xbox off there.
Okay.
I just got the toaster off there yesterday,
The
man.
toaster. That's
Yeah.
funny. So, let me ask you about your collection of cars.
Oh.
Out of the giant collection of cars.
Yeah.
Because it's giant compared to most of us.
Well, okay.
It's pretty good.
It's small.
What's your favorite?
I've cut
What's
with
your absolute favorite car in the group?
it's hard. What does favorite mean? What is my favorite car? My old.
If you were to go like and everything disappeared, which one would you want
Which
to
one would
stay?
stay?
Probably my
That's
old
a good
my
way to
old
put it.
Viper. My old Viper.
The
Even though
Purple
it's
one or the blue one?
the blue one.
The blue one. That's your favorite car.
Ah,
I mean, that's fair. It's fine.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to hold you to it. And just, like you have the most attachment to that car. You
I'd say
would
that.
really hate to see that car go.
oh, actually, if I had to keep one car, it'd be my 70 Cuda because I've had that since high school.
Yeah.
Okay.
But,
Is
Yeah.
there a car that you regret selling at one point?
oh God,
Oh, that's a good question.
tons of them.
Yeah.
Because if I need money for something,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Car has to
everybody
go.
wants
Yeah.
the perfect car I already have all done.
Yeah.
So all the good stuff goes when I'm desperate for money.
Sure.
All the shiny black cars that are perfect.
Yeah.
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 They're
Nobody
all
wants
done.
the project.
No.
Well, some people want a
No,
I
project.
want
they-
the projects. I always keep getting in projects like crazy.
Yeah. So the good stuff kind of goes.
If I'm
Yeah.
going to be honest, the one that I want in his garage right now is the wrecked Viper. With the second frame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you don't. The body is glued on to a Viper
Yeah.
onto the frame. So
Oof.
once you know
Like a
that,
Miata.
you might change
Bonded.
your mind.
Yeah.
It's bonded.
Yeah,
It's
but
bonded.
but Jeremy, knowing him, he's not going to worry about the body. He's going to take it off and make it into a cart. He's
No.
just going to make it fast.
No.
No?
No, I would want a Viper.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I mean, that would be a neat project.
Yeah.
But difficult.
Oh, yeah.
But still, I mean,
Might be worth
he doesn't
it.
have a project, so let's put it in his garage.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I have a question for you, Rob. How is your car?
Which one?
My Corvette?
Yeah.
It's very good.
Is it?
It's very fast.
You got the wing on it now. How many events have you had on it with the wing?
3 or 4.
You can notice the stability in the back?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I made some changes during one event, like actually between runs, just to see,
With the wing?
Yeah, I gave it
More downforce?
more downforce, and it was noticeable.
Does it?
Yeah. So I was really happy with it. Like I noticed it first event out.
Yeah.
Like I knew it was working. And then, because I drove it the event before without it. Yeah. And then, I made a change mid-run or, between runs and noticed it even more. So I've always been really good at testing and feeling the difference of things so I can make changes and tweaks to either suspension or brakes or aero in this case. And I can, by the seat of my pants, I can feel what's happening with the car. So yeah, it was really exciting to know that it's doing something.
Yeah. Aerodynamics is great, isn't it?
It's awesome.
Just a little bit of aero
Yep.
makes a big difference.
Yep. And so I made a bunch of changes in the last 2 weeks to my car, and I was able to test it this weekend, and I love it. It's working really well. So I'm excited for this next weekend.
What did you do in the last, all these changes? Alignment or?
I did alignment. I did poly control arms. I did poly motor mounts. Yeah.
You did all the poly mounts in the,
Yep.
all like,
Yep.
1, 2, 3,
The
4,
whole
5,
thing.
6, 16 polys on the inside?
Is it 16 to 4? Yeah, it is. Yep.
Wow, that is a lot of work.
Mhm. Yeah, it took 2 days to do it, but worth it.
And a new alignment?
Yep.
Do you know your specs? Do you
I do,
remember?
yes.
What are they?
I'm not going to tell you.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
They don't apply to my car anyway.
No, they don't, but they do apply to Derek.
Oh, well, Derek's pushing everybody needs to change their alignment. I've been watching that.
Well, because I was running stock, like street alignment before, and just wearing tires out stupid.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I should have changed it last year, and I never did,
Yeah.
just because I was lazy. And I really paid for it, like in money and how I finished.
time.
Yeah, it was terrible. And so, anyway, it's fixed.
So you modified your car. I modified my car. That means this weekend we're going to go and take names.
We'll see.
Huzzah.
I hope so. Honestly, I hope so.
I'm really surprised.
I'm excited for it. It handled so good last week, and everything just clicked.
Really?
So, yeah.
I'm really
Really
surprised also the stuff I did to Liger, how much that changed that car.
Yeah.
I had even Antonio drive it, and he's like, because he drove it last year at the end, he's like, compared to last year, this is not the same car.
Yeah.
He's like, just even compared to last year, this is not the same car that you had.
Well, maybe I can get in the seat this weekend. And
I'd like you to. I'd love to have your input on this, because I really think the braking now is about equal to your Corvette or Tim's.
Yeah.
The handling's just a step down before your guys' cars, but it's getting there. The only thing missing, again, is power on that car.
Well, and you fixed the linkage, and I think that was
And
really
set that-
holding your car back.
I think so too, yeah, because now it's, off camera, I'll tell you how fast we were going around some corners.
Yeah.
But
So,
yeah.
we'll test it out. That'll be fun. It'll be good. Anyway, I'm hoping that it's going to work really good this weekend.
All right. Good luck.
Yeah. So I don't know. I haven't finished that well. Like everybody has so stepped up.
You haven't finished that well?
No. Yeah. Well, I'm only gauging myself, not you.
Oh,
So-
He's not comparing himself to you.
No, I'm not. Yeah, I mean, honestly, everybody's stepped up.
I know.
oh yeah, everyone has.
Everybody within a half a second. I mean, if you're
We had 8 people within 0.8 of a second.
Yeah,
I just looked at the numbers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we have one who was up at the top,
Derek,
Derek,
Derek. And then it was like, yeah. Then
Then
like,
Derek and Tim,
and then
they were
Corey,
within-
right?
and then there was like
they
the
were
8. Yeah.
0.05.
Yeah,
Like
the top guy was
super close.
Yeah, it was Derek was ahead by like half a second or something. And then
no, it was
No.
0.05.
yeah,
Yeah.
0.005
Yeah,
to
it was-
Tim. It was
Yes.
it was a thousandth.
thousands.
Oh, was it
a
1,000?
couple
Yeah.
thousands.
It was.
Yeah.
I thought it was 8,000.
But then
It
there's
was
like
really close.
then there's 8 people or 10 people in the next second.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. And I'm in like 7th. So-
Well, I'm in like 17th, so
You're not in 17th.
Yes,
I
yeah,
think he
yeah.
No,
is.
because I'm in.
No, I think he is.
I was,
Hey, where am I then? No, because I'm
You're
in like.
just in
I thought it was
front
like
of
14th or 15th.
Yeah.
I'm
I
in-
know him before breaking the top 10.
I'm about mid pack.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Wait, how am I ahead of you?
Huh?
I'm so confused.
I didn't say you're ahead of me.
I think he is.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I think he is. I think
Because I'm consistently
he's in
in
14th.
14th.
I know. I'm looking at all these people who beat me. It's like, oh.
Well, last year you were hit and miss. Like you were driving your Viper, and there was
Charlie's
days
Viper.
that you were he was driving his.
Well, that was
There was days that you were in the top 3.
Yeah.
And then the next day you'd be like 10th.
I had to get over another wreck. Remember? You know?
I don't remember that. What happened?
I crashed my car.
Oh,
I crashed
yes, I
down
do.
in
The
Arizona.
BMW. Yeah.
So I've
I
crashed.
didn't hear about this.
I've crashed twice in Arizona. 3 years ago, I crashed in Arizona, and it took. I was slow for a year after that. I mean, just slow, and I didn't even know it. I was just so slow because I was getting over
mental.
that.
Is mental.
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And then I did it again, but not so bad. It didn't affect me mentally as much. I backed it.
The more time you crash, you'll just get used to it.
Well, it wasn't that also, and getting used to crashing, and also it just wasn't that bad of a crash.
Yeah,
the first one was kind of a bad one, and I was like mentally screwed. Took me a year to get it back, and then Jim was in the car this last one. I don't know if you know that, but I backed it into the wall.
No, I don't think I.
Yeah, he went for a ride.
Yeah, okay.
Ass walked on you.
Huh?
The ass walked on you.
Oh man, I just screwed up so bad in this one. Heading into the bus stop at the end of a long straightaway, I just trying a new line, and
it didn't work out.
And I just entered it at just warp speed. I should have worked my way up, but no, it was a freaking most high speed entrance into this corner, and then it just didn't work out. And a huge slide covered, and then backed it into a wall about 600 feet away.
Wow.
Not bad, just barely though.
That's one of my biggest.
Barely.
That's one of my biggest fears, is putting Liger into the wall on the big track. If it was any other car, different.
That's why I keep telling you, get a second car.
I do have a second, third, and fourth, and fifth, and sixth car. They're just not running.
You need a second race car. Something that's caged.
What I found is to crash hard out there, you got to make a bunch of mistakes at once. It's not like
I keep telling Grant, drive to your capabilities. Why are you thinking you're gonna?
If you drive anywhere near your capabilities, you won't crash your car at the big track.
Yeah.
If anything, it's the opposite. You'll fly down that straightaway and you'll be slow every time.
And if anything, that's the thing, is I should probably be more comfortable, because we do track cross, and I'm very comfortable being a track cross going at those speeds, And I think it's just I need to step out and do it once and just get onto it,
Yep.
But
I get that it's a little bit intimidating, but drive within your limits and you're fine.
Yeah.
You will be fine.
Yeah.
That's where it's at. People that say that kind of stuff like, oh, I don't want to crash. It's not drive within your limits.
No, exactly.
Why do you think you're going to do something dumb?
Well, it's not. Well, sometimes it's not just you. It could be a different driver.
Well, yeah.
Or
there's that happens going down the highway.
Yeah.
But let's go. I'd love to go with you.
Okay.
I went with Adam last year. It was so fun. We had a great time.
Well, I think the Goffs are making a trip to the Ridge, so hopefully we can make a group thing out of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Boy, that'd be so fun.
Yeah, it would. Okay,
maybe we might do that if enough of us are going.
We're getting because that way it could sidetracked. But I wanted to, on that question about your favorite car, if there was something that you could do to better the car or something you could change about the car inherently, what would it be?
Which car?
His favorite car.
The Cuda.
No.
His Viper.
Oh gosh, that's not an easy question.
No,
nothing.
I don't ask easy
you don't
questions.
I've had this car for so long. I've done everything I can think of to it. I mean, if I could think it, I've had it for like 10 years.
Yeah, but you've done everything.
Well, I mean, I've tried to do.
I can think of something.
I can think of a lot.
Okay, tell me. I mean, just give me an idea.
I would change your braking system.
I already have. I just put 6 piston calipers on it.
You did?
I got
new ones? You don't have the off-brand?
No, I got brand new Stop Techs.
That's the problem. I would change those. I would get rid of the Stop Tech.
Put the Brembos on there.
I would
put
Brembos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not.
Are Vipers on the whole side note?
They come with Brembos from the factory.
Can you swap parts easily for generation to Viper? Can you put like a 5th gen Viper braking system on the 2nd gen?
No.
Okay, so like every single different generation is its own different thing. No real good part swaps.
3 and 4s are almost the same, right? You can really tell the difference.
Mm-hmm.
1s and 2s are kind of similar. Probably 1s and 2s you can swap more parts between. 3s and 4s can be very similar.
Okay. But you can't do like whole differential swaps from a 5th gen into like say a 2nd gen or brakes from a first. Okay.
No, they changed that.
Okay.
Wheels and tires are interchangeable.
So but I also know the Viper's it's not an extreme like popular option like a Miata or a Mustang or a Civic. So like with that being said, like what's the aftermarket capabilities if you are buying parts to put on a Viper? Like what is available? Is it very limited and then there's only so far you can go up on that ladder?
That's a good topic. That's a good question.
It's what I found owning the Viper is that car is a race car at the factory, right? Mm-hmm. So you go bring your Viper home and you want better brakes and you buy the best 6-piston stop techs. They're not as good as what came on the car.
No,
so it's hard to...
That's why I was really surprised to see those on your cars. Like, that seems like a downgrade to me.
Well, my car didn't come with the best Brembos. The newer Vipers have better and better brakes. So I'm not upgrading the newer Vipers. But, like my Gen 2 had crappy brakes. And just like... It's just the car is so extreme. Like you go buy brake pads. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You're not going to buy better brake pads for your Viper unless you buy the full-on, top-of-the-line for racing only brake pads, because that's almost what it came with. Mm-hmm. So I've made a lot of mistakes, like you said, the stop techs.
Trying to cut a little corner here and there.
I didn't think
financial. I totally understand.
I wasn't trying to cut any corners.
Gotcha. You were trying to experiment, seeing what if it was possible to make it faster, right?
I thought, you go buy this top of the line race pad in there. It's like shit. They're not as good as stock.
Everyone's got to be an explorer at some point and make a discovery.
Jim Merritt.
No, I get it. Yeah. I get it. Yeah.
You learn. It's just learning.
Yeah.
It's like, 6-piston, they'll be better, right?
I'd go back to stock at that point.
Do you think then if you're modifying specifically a Viper, it takes away like the soul or what makes a Viper then? Like as you said, you can't really get better.
No, you can, but it's just like you can improve on the Viper, but it's gonna take some serious thought. And like all those parts you've been throwing at your cars over your whole lifetime that made an improvement, that's a downgrade for a Viper.
Yeah. So that's what I would do for your car. What about like inherent improvements, like something that you would change about the car, basically, as a platform? And maybe it's not even possible or an option to do that, but
with the Viper, that's tough. The platform is pretty high end. There's no really stiffening the chassis.
Right.
There's no really.
What about the pedal box? It's pretty small.
The pedal box is a problem, man.
Yeah. So inherently, you can change that, make it a little better, a little bigger, so you can actually fit your foot on the brake and the gas at the same time.
I think that like on my newer Viper, my 2010, the pedal placement is not correct from the three are in a tight area, the 3 pedals, and they're not spaced properly between each other. So
agreed.
So you can move the pedals and
you can
electronically move them.
You can buy like my 2010. Each pedal is 2 pieces, and the little pad part bolts on.
Yeah,
and so someone else
you can adjust them.
Correct. You can buy parts, like unbolt the pad, and then you buy some part for $500, bolt it on there, it moves it over an inch.
Yeah,
I know
so heel and towing could be better.
Mm-hmm.
Just little things, just very, very small things. The shifter I don't like the stock shifter.
I agree with that. It's got a pretty long throw onto it.
Yeah.
Well, the ACR has a short shifter on it, doesn't it?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't have one.
Okay.
I have a short shifter, but
Okay, yeah. I thought it did. Like on the 03 Viper that I'm used to driving, for example, like the
big tall looks like a baseball bat.
It is definitely as a driver car, not as a race car. It is an experience driving those cars because it's not like when you shift, it's like grabbing hold of a big hand and then you're actually not forcing it, but like when you do a gear change, you're in another gear. It's a full dramatic thing.
Yeah.
It's
not like some of these new cars that like you wonder if the shifter is like electrically assisted.
Yep. Yeah.
It shifts so nice. That's not my car.
Mm-mm.
No, you want to feel it.
Yeah.
You want to feel like you actually did something.
Here's an improvement to ask you. Do you think, what about the sound of Viper?
They're not too good.
I love the sound of John's car, but it's because of the supercharger.
Yeah.
And my aftermarket exhaust. Vipers are notoriously have bad sounding from the factory.
Yeah.
That's one improvement, though.
Everybody says they sound like a UPS truck.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, from stock for sure, but his is a little different. I really like the sound of your car, though.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, that one's good. So, of your collection of cars, because we've only touched like 6 of them, 8,
Well,
maybe 6.
My collection
Anyway,
is not really a collection. It's like it's
30
a
cars is a collection.
Well, there's 30 cars, but I wouldn't say it's a collection to come look at or like.
That's fine.
Let's open a museum. It's more like let's open a junkyard. Let's put them all outside and
totally
call it
fine.
a junkyard.
Yeah. No, that's totally fine. But let the listener's mind wander. I wonder what he has out there.
I know. People are
30 cars. I'd still love to go see them and see
any
like
Camaros?
what was.
What?
You got any Camaros?
No Camaros.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I've lost interest. Just kidding.
The only Chevy product I have, I think, is a Cadillac.
Do you have any wild stories from some of the cars you've got? Like, how did they come in your possession,
I can't even tell you all my stories. Of course, yeah.
Like, what's one that sticks out to you the most?
I accidentally kind of scammed this guy.
Okay.
It was a BMW M3, and it popped up in Craigslist, and I called up, and it looked good, and the price looked good, and he couldn't get it started, right? Perfect, right? So I called him up. And this must have been like 4 PM. I call him up. I go, hey, I want to look at that thing. You still got it? He goes, yeah, but I got like everybody wants that thing, and everybody's just promised me even more money for it. And I got a guy coming over at 6:00, but I got like 7 guys. So he goes, if it doesn't sell, I'm all for selling it to you. But like I say, I got a guy coming over at 6. He wants it. Another guy at 7, he wants it. A guy at 8 wants it. But you're like number 10th. And he goes, so I'll just, call me tomorrow. And
so you sat at the driveway and just turned everyone around.
No. What I said was, I go, okay, I'll call you tomorrow, and I'll get the address, and whatever. I kind of wrote it off, right? So he goes, okay, yeah, let's talk tomorrow, and I'll give you the address. And this is after he told me he's got a guy coming over, right? And so I go, okay, no problem. Kind of wrote it off. Everybody wants it.
Yeah.
And so I wrote it off. I'm driving home, and I look at I get a text, and he's sent me the address.
Oh.
Huh.
Right?
And somebody didn't show up.
No, I mean, this was just right after I called him. So the guy who we promised it to wasn't. It was like 4:30, and the guy was going to be there at 6. He wasn't even home from work yet, and so how did that go? So I got the address, and I go, you know what? I'm going to turn around. I'm going to go to this guy's house right now. I just want to see this thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to go see this thing, And so I pull up to the house. Parents were there, and he's not home from work yet. And so the parents let me look at the car in the basement, which, I wouldn't. Anyway, so I'm there. I'm hanging out, just looking at it. And the guy gets there at about 5:30 from work. And he thinks I'm the guy.
Yeah. The guy showing up at 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm actually just talking to him, right? So I get there, and I'm looking at it, and he goes, yeah, I got all these guys who want it. I promised it to you first. That's the only reason that, we're going to do this right now. And I'm realizing, oh, shit. He thinks I'm that guy.
Yeah.
So I go, well, I want it. And I go, you got the title? And I'm looking at my watch. It's like 10 to 6.
Let's make this happen.
Yeah. I go, let's make this happen quick. And I go, yeah, I got a title. I go, get the title. Let's see the title. Write a bill of sale. I'll pay right now. I gave him the cash. I go, let's push this thing outside right now. Let's just push it out. I'll come get it later. So we pushed this thing out of his garage. I paid for it. I just pushed it out into the curb, and I took off.
Yeah.
And I had the title. I had the car. And I had the title.
The other guy showed up.
I was gone, man.
Yeah.
And so I didn't even mean to do that.
It just happened.
Did you ever talk to that guy again, or did you just go?
No, I never saw him again.
That's hilarious.
So you just came and got it later, and that was it.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So that was kind of.
He didn't care. He sold the car.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he had promised to this guy, and I wasn't playing any. I didn't try to con him, but I realized he was thinking I was the guy.
Yeah.
And so we got that guy.
Yeah, that'll happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So any cars like that you've purchased over time that you didn't feel like they needed to be modified? You're a tinkerer, man.
No, I'm the opposite. I'm the worst. I'll take a car that is perfect.
Yeah,
and I'll modify it till it's undrivable.
Oh, I know that feeling all too well.
Till it's undrivable.
Yeah, then I can't.
Yeah, ruin that one.
Yeah. I do that. So no, I'll take any car and make it till it's so uncomfortable you can't drive it.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Then get another one and
perfect. Do it again.
A nice stock one.
Yeah. Great car.
Then start modifying it. Lower it down.
Yeah.
Put some big tires on it and
put some uncomfortable seats in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every, girlfriends, why is your car so bumpy? It's like,
Oh man.
yeah.
So what kind of car brings an emotional response from you? Like something you see and you're just like, oh man,
Like
I need it.
Yeah, like
I
it brings you
need
back.
Oh,
Or yeah, something from your past even. Yeah.
I don't know. Those are tough. I don't have an answer for that, guys.
What? You don't have a car like even a Corvair, one of your first cars.
Mm-hmm.
Get an emotional response out of seeing one of those, and maybe one that's for sale, and you're like, oh.
Well,
Or you see it on the street.
My old Cuda. Okay, my old white Cuda that I keep talking about. I drag raced it. I autocrossed it. It was my high school car. I dated, dates in it. So that's a car that I look at that as, I don't even look at it as a car anymore. That's like me.
Yeah.
It's that's like a Liger.
That's like, it's been around as long as I can remember anything, I bought that when I was 16.
But you still have it.
I still have it, and I haven't totaled it.
Well, that's a plus. But I mean, that's kind of an emotional response.
Yeah.
You'll never sell that.
I've had it for over 45 years.
Yeah, you can't get rid of that car.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about you? Well, yours is Liger, but
Mine's Liger.
Any others besides that, that give you?
Come back to me because I know there is a couple. Go, Jeremy first.
I have two.
Jeremy's got one.
Let's hear it,
I
Jeremy.
have two.
All right.
So, the first car thing, I had an 83 Ford Ranger. So, you don't see them very often, but the two-tone 80s Rangers, mine was red and white and red.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
If I saw one of those, I would want it.
Yeah.
And then the second one would be I had a 1986 Chev pickup, 2-wheel drive, slammed to the ground. I missed that truck.
Interesting.
I fucked up big when I sold it.
You could probably find one.
I've looked. I found an 84 that I really liked, same body style.
Yeah.
Different paint job.
Is that S10?
No, it was a full size.
Oh, okay.
It was a short wide.
Gotcha.
That thing was. I missed that
square
truck.
body.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought for
those
the
are pretty
longest time it had a 305 in it.
Yeah.
And it was actually a 350 with a 4-speed manual.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah. That was a fun truck.
Yeah, those are pretty neat. I bet you could find one of those.
Oh, yeah.
They're going up, though. in
Oh,
price.
yeah.
Yeah, they're climbing. Mine would be a 72 Camaro.
72.
Yeah, I had a 72 Camaro when I was a teenager. And, life happens. You get rid of cars like that. But, yeah, whenever I see one of those, I'm like, man, I'd love to have that. They're not the greatest car. They really aren't. Like, for handling and all that stuff, you'd have to do an awful lot of work for them to make it competitive if you were going to compete in it.
And how old were you when you had that?
17.
So you had a lot of this personal experiences in that car.
Yeah, absolutely.
High school.
Yeah, high school, man. All that stuff.
High school chicks.
Yeah, super, super great car. Love it.
It
was an RS.
I did get my first Hummer in a 83 Ranger.
Oh, okay. All right. Thanks for that. Yeah.
How did it fit? Doesn't that weigh like 3 tons or something like that?
Put it right in the back.
Yep.
So I've got 2. Because we're talking about if we see it, not Because I got not going into Liger, but like Mustangs in general of like Liger's era. Mm-hmm. And the other big reason for that, other than being my Mustang, is one of our family friends, who essentially was like my grandfather, before I even got my Mustang, he would have Mustangs. And the last the 3 big Mustangs I remember, other than the 90s, was, the same S197 body style of Liger. So seeing that reminds me of him, and, seeing a Mustang reminds me of my family. We've always had one. My dad had one. My aunts had one. So that's one thing. But the one I think that caused the most emotional response to me is seeing a late 90s Explorer. I love that truck so much.
Yeah, you bring up Explorers every once in a while. It kind of blows my mind because I've had
most of
a 93 Explorer, and I was like, it was just a car, man.
Well, most time I bring them up is because of Jurassic Park, but that's a whole different subject. I'm talking the gen after that.
I still think that is part of your connection to that car.
No, because
for some reason.
The one after that is not the Jurassic Park one. And the reason is because
right, but it's still
it's connection to me because that was one of the cars I started learning on, and that we had an Explorer, still have it theoretically. My aunt bought an Explorer back in 2000, And when she was done with that car, it went to my cousin, and then it went to my brother, then it went to me, and then it went to my brother, then it went to our sister, then it went to my cousin and my next cousin.
Damn.
It had 400,000 miles. In fact, when we shipped it to New York to our next cousin, my dad had me fully restore that with my cousin because we wanted to make, and they wanted that because it's been passed around the family so much that our cousins want to have that experience that the Gonzalez had. I have so many memories of that car, of dancing on the hood at a lake with that, having 8 people in the back because we were all just teenagers driving around. That car had the same 4.0 engine as the Mustangs back then. So I learned how to really drive and handle that car because it feels like a Mustang when you're driving it. I remember towing my first trailer with that. That Explorer, all the windows down, sunroof down, music blaring, 5 people in, all singing karaoke, art karaoke. I will see one of those, and I just always remember the good times coming in.
What's the other one?
The Mustang.
That's it?
Well, not. I said Mustangs in general.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, if we're going to other, there's other cars. I mean, so for example, if I see a Gen Viper like my dad, or if I'm in the seat behind it, it really reminds me of when I was a kid and we'd drive around and hear, music we'd be playing, like Michael Bublé or Aretha Franklin, and just driving around in Canada for some of the trips we'd do with the Ferrari Club. Or seeing a 348, some of the older Ferraris, you don't see them very often. When they come up, it's it brings up memories of childhood, or what I've done as a family and stuff like that. So a lot of times if I'm spacing out of the car, it's probably because I'm reliving some good memories.
All right.
Yay.
That was I knew that Grant would take a really long time.
I got another one too. My
Okay.
dad had an '89 Ford F-150 that, when I see, it's black with a bunch of chrome on it. When I see something like that, it reminds me of my dad because it was something he had when I was growing up for 10 years. So, that one kind of triggers memories too.
I think we all kind of have it. Everybody, any car person, that has that penchant for wanting cars or projects or even just enjoying an older vehicle. You kind of have memories related around vehicles, certain ones, and kind of triggers you a little bit. It's kind of cool. I don't know. It can be related to music. You hear a certain song and it takes you back to, your teenage years or whatever. It's kind of the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of cool. Turning the corner. We've talked about cars from other countries pretty often. Any cars for you that if you could import something and it was easy to do, something we don't normally see here maybe, or even if we do have them here, do you have anything that you would bring in from another country?
I thought about bringing over a couple of Citroens, those little 2 CVs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I have connections. My girlfriend's French, and she knows people. So I could get cars over here for free.
For free?
Yeah.
No shipping, no duties, no taxes, no nothing.
This guy owns the boats and stuff like that.
That's cool.
Well, that's handy. How about from Brazil? Can we work a deal?
Ooh. Oh, you want something from Brazil?
He wants the McLaren F1, doesn't he?
No.
You want an old
I
Volkswagen?
want an SP2.
SP2?
Yeah.
The Ferrari?
No.
The Volkswagen?
Volkswagen.
I know what that is.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Jeremy's bringing it up because I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Oh, you've never seen one before. It's aerodynamic.
Is it?
I know what SV2 is. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I want.
SV or SP?
Wow.
SP.
SP, yeah, like Ferrari. SP2 and SP1.
Well, it's a Volkswagen. It's not a Ferrari.
Oh, well, they make a Ferrari of that one.
Okay.
Yeah, SV2 Ferrari is awfully nice.
Yeah.
Anywho. Yeah.
Ooh, that's a pretty cool.
If you could work a deal on one of those, I'm interested.
What's that based off of?
Anyway,
they're only otherwise it's like $2,500, so the price isn't too bad.
Yeah, no, it's not.
That's a really
shipping
cool
is
car.
really not that
It's like
bad.
a Datsun looking thing.
It's got all kinds of looking
Like a
things on it.
240Z was trying to be futuristic.
And Pantera, and yeah, I mean,
Sirocco.
that white one with the red and blue stripe is really cool. The one below it, the yellow. So,
Why did
like
that
some
never
listener, look up the SP2.
Why did that
It's
never make
awesome.
it to America?
I don't know. It's only in Brazil.
Only in Brazil?
Yep.
Is it fueled by cocaine?
Maybe. I mean, it could be a DeLorean thing. They packed them full of cocaine, and I don't know.
And they sent them to Brazil?
Yeah, I can't tell you. They never got out of the country. They're all full of cocaine.
Huh.
So any others besides the Citroen?
What about a Ute?
Not really, but I know I ended up working on some cars that were brought over and sat in customs for a long time because they were full of cocaine, and we ended up getting a deal on,
really?
on getting them. Yeah,
Huh.
Yeah. It was the Prince of Monaco.
Okay.
He would come over here, whatever, once or twice a year, and bring cars over.
Mm-hmm.
And his actual security team were the guys packing the cocaine in the vehicles.
Damn.
And so we had ended up. These cars sat in customs for like 10 years, and my friend somehow got them. And we started fixing them up.
That's
But
cool.
holes cut in them and stuff. Austin Martins and stuff like that.
Well, that would be interesting.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Good story on those, too.
Yeah.
How about you?
Oh, what I'd import?
Yeah.
R34.
Oh, yeah. You brought that up before.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not a big Japanese car guy,
Yeah,
and
but
I
that's
don't,
the one.
and I don't really, see myself driving it. But that's one car. I remember it mainly from arcade machines, and that would be the car I'd pick. It'd be the coolest looking thing and handle.
That's the weirdest thing, weirdest way to pick out a car.
Why?
It was a game.
Yeah. A lot of the time, you got a connection to something like that. It brings up,
suppose.
Like we talked, emotional connection. That's one I've got for that car.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I think if it wasn't that, it'd be like a Subaru R22, like we talked again in the past.
Mm-hmm.
It'd probably be something from Japan.
I'd like Lancia. Lancias don't come over here very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does seem pretty rare to have that here.
Those are great cars.
Yeah.
For, small all-wheel drive.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, there's one I would like to have imported.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be the Ford RS200.
Oh, yeah.
That would be a good
There's some of those
Rally.
here.
That's the rally
that
car.
just
That's the rally
that
car,
just
yeah.
would take a lot of money.
Yeah, just to get one.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how rare they are, but it feels like they're
Very rare.
Yeah.
And especially the highest end one was a supercharged and twin turbocharged all-wheel drive that made 750 horses.
Yeah.
That's too
And
many
still
charging things.
street legal.
Too many
the
chargers
rally
for me.
Yeah.
How about you?
Too much.
Probably a MAN flat nose box truck.
Yep, you lost us.
Is that those small little Japanese ones?
No.
I knew it was going to be a truck.
Okay, you want to know?
Pull it up on the
Why,
Google.
why didn't you not Google that already?
I'm going to Google it.
Is that the Unimog, a jacked up 4-wheel drive thing?
Kind of.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
That'd be
I knew Jeremy's would be a truck of some type, but I thought it might be more of an off-road vehicle.
I think also it'd be fun to have like a little 3-wheeler Japanese little pickup truck.
3?
Yeah. It's, again, from a video game from growing up.
Kind of like a tuk-tuk?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it'd be just fun to drive around.
It would be. It'd be a great utility vehicle.
Yeah.
Yeah. I could see you using it around the shop
Mm-hmm.
all the time. That's funny. Okay. What is it called again, Jeremy?
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That is off-road.
That's funny. I was going to say a Dakar truck, but that's actually what it is.
That's exactly what I would look
for. Okay.
That's really cool.
Alrighty. Yeah, those things, like when you see them hauling off across the desert, insanity.
Like, have you seen one
have
hauling
you-
across the desert?
Have you seen
They
the?
race them.
Yeah.
They race
That's a
those.
race truck?
That's
So-
a race.
that's
It's
a
a support.
race?
It's a support vehicle, but they also race them.
Yeah.
Wow.
Grant,
Yeah.
I want you to look this up if you've never seen them run.
Oh, it's amazing.
There's a video of one of these
It's a race
things
truck for
that
sure.
actually chases down a rally car.
That car right
and
there.
passes him.
Fucking blows by it at
top
100
right.
miles an hour
Top
faster.
right.
Yeah,
The top right section.
Those
Whoa,
things.
look at this guy. See, he's jumping that. It's nuts.
Look at
Those things are
the
amazing.
far left. That's all 4 wheels in the air.
Oh yeah, it is.
I did not realize you could do that with that kind of truck.
Yeah.
Okay,
so,
Jeremy, we need another project. We're going to do this.
So anyway, listener, Dakar Rally truck rally. What do they call it again?
It's a chase vehicle.
Okay.
Dakar
If you've never seen it,
chase vehicle.
it's worth looking up a YouTube video and
Yes.
watching those things fly
You want
across
to
the
spell it
desert.
out? It's
They're massive. They're like a tank.
They're
They're bigger than a tank.
They're a support vehicle for that's Red Bull. So they have a
Yeah.
big. So they send the race cars out first, and like 2 hours later, then their race starts.
Right.
And so they're always behind the cars they're supporting, but they're fully racing, and they'll flip those things and
there's gear in them. There's tools.
they're
there's
full.
extra
They're loaded.
parts.
Everything for
there's
the other
fuel.
cars.
Because if the car breaks down, they have to stop and help them.
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
kind of their
Fix the
main
car.
purpose.
That is their main purpose.
to get
but they decided to race them at the same time, which is awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, those things are really cool.
That'd be exciting to watch race, honestly.
Yeah, even before the official class, they were racing anyway. So it was like
I wonder if you could find a used one, what it would cost to buy that.
I will look one up.
I think it's like
Yeah.
40 grand.
No,
You don't think so?
no. I bet you that. I bet
100,
you one of them.
140.
Yeah, I bet you one of these ones down here on the third row. These
Mhm.
3. I bet you those are like $300,000 or $400,000.
Well, the ones that are already modified, you mean?
newish.
Newish, yeah.
But I bet
used probably 100 grand,
yeah, probably 100 and a half.
and that would be pretty used
and
up.
that's with no extra.
Oh yeah,
parts
no,
in it.
that's empty truck. You're lucky to have tires on it.
Tires in it.
Probably.
They're
None in
ball
it.
dirt tires.
Yeah, no, they're pretty used for sure.
Hmm.
Kind of crazy.
Kind of. That's really crazy. That's awesome. I didn't know that was a thing that existed.
Yeah, I thought everybody knew about that.
You are
What do you know?
sheltered. That is one of my favorite races to watch every year.
Dakar.
I don't like.
The Dakar.
Normally, I don't
I
watch
always
racing.
watch the highlights. I never really watch the whole thing because it's so long. But the highlights are very interesting.
yeah, I normally
they're
never
good.
really watch racing. I normally just race.
Yeah, you need to watch
You are
this.
sheltered.
Well, we're in a shelter
So-
right now.
I got another question about, like, John, do you have a favorite motor? Like, if you were going to do motor swaps, do you prefer one over the other? Do you prefer, like, in your Miata? I know you're using or not your Miata, but your
BMW.
BMW. You're putting an LS in that.
Yeah.
But if you could find a V10 out of a Viper, would you use that instead?
No. My favorite motor is is probably the R5 P7 motor, which is the NASCAR Dodge motor, and it's
Interesting.
It's not
What's
really.
that out of?
It's not. It's not based on.
What kind of specs is that? What's
I've never heard
it's
of
not
it.
based on a factory. Well, just like the NASCAR Chevys.
Okay.
They don't have that's not really based on their.
It's not a production motor.
No. So the R5 P7 is probably my favorite motor. It's the NASCAR motor,
Mhm.
and it's a 358 cubic inch. It's just a fully designed and built just for racing.
purpose
So it'll
built.
sit there at 9,000 RPM
So it's still a small
All day
block.
long.
with no wear.
Yeah.
It's still a small block, right?
358 cubic
Okay.
inches. They'll run it like every straightaway they're hitting 9,500 RPM.
And I'm
Yeah.
not sure I would call it a small block.
Well, it's a 358.
I'm sure it is. Yeah.
Well,
And
it's a 358, but it's
it is small.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
there's
no,
small.
it's-
Believe me, especially
literally,
compared to the. I was going to say my other favorite motor would be like the 440 Chrysler because that's what I've always had and that's what I've built up for everybody. Oops, and so that's my favorite motor. But those things are not the best motor, but it's my favorite motor. It's my favorite motor. It's like
What makes it your
it doesn't
favorite?
have a place really.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
makes the 440 your favorite motor?
Just because I've had so many and I'm really good at building them.
Okay.
I built a lot of motors and I built a lot of 440s and 340s. And when I was building all these motors, I realized I thought I could build motors really well.
Mm-hmm.
And then I built some other motors. I realized that just because I can build 440s really well and like in competition, they do excel
Mm-hmm.
for how much is in it. Like, for example, then I did a 455 Pontiac. Man, you gotta know that motor. I'm totally unsuccessful in a
Gotcha. Yeah, so it's
and-
not the same.
and a big block Chevy 427 or 454. Man, I don't have the magic for that,
Yeah.
but I know how to make a 440 just excel,
Okay.
but
Oh, that's cool.
yeah. And I thought I was pretty good at all motors until I started building other motors. And it's like, no way. You got to be if you want to build a 455 Buick or a Pontiac, you got to go find a Pontiac expert.
Mm.
He knows the magic.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you're building a motor, do you have a machine shop or do you do it in the machining yourself or what?
I don't have the machines. I
Yeah.
have a machine shop who does my machining.
Is it just
Yeah.
the same guy you've known for years or is this?
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's just the greatest. And he has all the super equipment.
Mm.
Yeah.
A lot of trust built up there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I trust him. And
Where at?
We have a lot of mutual trust.
You want to plug him?
C&D Racing, Chuck.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. You go in there and you'll see just walk around and look at his cool stuff. Oh my God.
Has he ever come to you and say, "I've never tried this before. It sounds experimental. Let's do it"?
Absolutely not.
No.
No, he's
Okay.
the opposite. It's like, this is what works. John, if you don't do this, don't even come back and talk to me.
Okay.
If you don't run my oil,
Yeah.
he goes, we're done.
This is what
Wow,
works.
okay.
This is what you will use.
This is what you're going to use.
Because he wants his product to last and he knows what
Yeah.
works.
Yep. And like, you got to know when to go along with people who are smarter than you.
Yeah.
And at least give people a chance.
Yeah.
My ideas might be like, no, I don't think I want to run that. But I found more and more that you need to go along with other people who supposedly know more. I have my favorite oil, but for example, he told me, you're going to run driven. That's your oil. And this is exactly what you're going to run forever.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you do that, you can keep coming in here.
Yeah.
And it'll be nice to you.
I think all of them have their own spec of oil, what they trust, what they've seen works, that kind of stuff.
And oil,
I've done the same thing with our
something they had good luck with, probably.
Yeah.
It's not just luck. I mean, I've found
it's
also
tested for sure.
And oil is tough stuff. Like, Redline oil, everybody says it's really shitty oil, which is, you're not going to find the good Redline oil in any store around here. Mm-hmm. Even though they sell Redline oil, they have a higher end oil it's so great.
Yeah.
We found out, I think it was in the BMW, we were getting some cam wear. So we wanted to, so you look at the cam, it's kind of starting to score.
Yep.
And so we go, wow, this is not going well. So let's switch over to the really expensive Redline, I think it's called ZP1 or something, XP1. Really expensive. We put that in there to see if we could curb the wear in this BMW. And we put that oil in there. And then we looked later. And it's like it reversed the wear.
Probably a high amount of zinc.
It not just stopped wearing, but
high zinc is really good for race motors.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just the right amount of zinc too, not too much.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
what was that motor again? The race motor?
That the Redline oil helped?
No.
The first motor you said, it was the one in the 358.
Yeah.
Oh, my R5P7, the Dodge.
So the R5P7, when did we start using all these letter number combinations for motors, for cars, for everything? I cannot fucking keep track of all the number combinations of everything that we're using now. We used to call them a fucking Mustang. Now it's an N95 or a S197 or whatever the F.
SN95.
I don't even know what the happened.
Well, we used to have like 351 Cleveland, 351 Windsor.
That was the motor in your vehicle.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was who made it.
And that was cubic inches. Okay. I understand that.
Yeah.
Where did all this other shit come from? Why are we labeling vehicles with numbers and letters?
I think
you don't understand the numbers and letters.
Fuck no.
I think
it's bad.
I think
it's terrible.
I saw it in Japanese cars.
Look what BMW
definitely in Japanese cars too.
Look what BMW did. The M3. It's been an M3 for freaking centuries. The M3 is the top of the line car.
That's true.
Okay. But what's the motor?
What about an M2?
But now it's the M. The M3 is now called an M4, and now the M3 versus 4. That tells you how many doors it has. An M3 has 4
how many
doors.
Cylinders.
So the M3 doesn't mean you have the top of the line badass BMW. An M3 means you got a 4-door. An M4 means you went back to what used to be an M3. So why did they do that? Why would they take the M3, which everybody knows what an M3 is, and throw it on a 4-door sedan? And if you want the good one, you call it an M4.
I thought the M1, M2, M3, M4, and M5s were all the series, right? So
M3 and M4 now, they changed all that.
Competition stuff.
They are.
Like, it was
it's still hyper, but right now an M3 and M4, the only difference is how many doors. And the M3 used to be the one you want, but no, you don't want the M3, you want the M4.
See, this is like why I like Ferrari, because it's easy. It's like 288, 348, 355. And then they change it and they start naming them, which got annoying in the end. But it's just how big is the engine?
Yeah.
And how many cylinders?
Yeah, there's actually had a method to it. And once you knew that, it was great. It was understandable.
Yeah. Well,
but what's a SN95?
SN95?
Yeah, what the fuck is that?
Street New 95 is when it's introduced.
That's
serious?
SN95 is right after the Fox body. What's a Fox body?
Yeah, but why did we change to that? Why are we now calling it that?
SN95.
Why aren't we just calling it a Mustang?
So it's kind of like, I know the Japanese used to do this, and it was the chassis number. And it just was, that's what it was stamped on it, right?
Designer numbers, yeah.
Mustang and year.
Okay.
2007 Mustang. I know what it is now.
Why do you call it C5, C6?
Because that's
C7,
a generation.
C8.
See, I don't know.
It's a generation.
So when they say that C5 and all that stuff, it's just a vet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I know it's a
Corvette
I know it's
6. It's a 6th generation Corvette.
Yeah,
that's all it is.
All I know is
Super simple.
You want the C6.
Yeah.
Z06.
Well, C5 is fine.
I like the
Do we ever talk about that when it comes to trucks? Like, you never hear an F-150 It's always an F-150.
It's always an F-150.
Yeah.
You know exactly what it is.
Yeah.
But that was the name of the truck.
Jeremy, wait until it comes. Then you'll have to bounce all these numbers and letters.
What?
Well, when trucks start getting code numbers.
Oh, it's ridiculous. I can't stand it.
Because like you say a Dodge Ram,
what's the
and you know exactly what it is.
What is a 197?
It's not
197 is the
not a
chassis
Dodge
number.
Ram anymore. It's just a
It
Ram.
pertains to a Mustang.
Yeah.
But what is it?
It's a 2005 to 2014 Mustang, depending if it's a new edge or original.
So an SN95 is...
It's a 94 to 2004.
And what's after 14?
14 would be an S550. It goes from 2015 all the way to 2023.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
And then
So
2024 is an S650, which is the newest Mustang.
So dumb.
Yeah.
Now, does that refer to the motor?
That refers to the chassis number.
Chassis. Okay.
So it has nothing to do with the trim of the vehicle.
It is and that's what confuses.
See, that's dumb too.
It confuses a lot of people because, like, for example, like Liger on the S197.
Yep.
Even though the 2005 to 2009 looks different than the 2010 to 2014, even with different motor and stuff, there's still categories in the same one.
Okay.
That being said, a lot of those parts you could just keep swapping between them. So that's one thing that makes it easy. Yeah. It's not like for example, if I was to do, a differential and engine, like a Coyote engine of that will swap easily into Liger. Not very much modification needs to be done. And you can take those parts and some of them you can go back as well because they're all Mustang parts. Like brakes will fit on, from a new GT3 500 will fit on my Mustang, will fit on SN95. They'll go back, but
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It is. I agree, Rob, that it doesn't
It's
help.
a little frustrating.
And
No, it doesn't.
It makes
help.
it harder to keep up. I mean, I know my BMWs real well, but then all of a sudden they changed that thing when they did the M3. It's not an M3 now; it's an M4, and an M3 is actually not what you want.
Yeah.
And then now there's all these other things. What's a 440?
440
BMW.
Oh, I have no idea.
I don't either, and I should. I mean, they didn't just carry on,
If only we had somebody with Google at their fingertips.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, you should know this. I mean, if you come back 5 years later, you should kind of know what's going on.
Yeah.
Now you have to get educated.
Well,
It's
what
a little
about
bit frustrating?
What about with Porsche? They're like notorious
Porsche
because you got you've got the 911 and then which 911? It's got all of them, and then you've got
they've got
Boxster,
a lot of different.
got a lot of different
996 and 997 and I don't
And are they all 911s?
Yes,
No.
a 996 and a 911.
I don't know.
Well, they kind of are.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same
are.
body.
You could
style,
either
but
say that
it's
they
not
don't
a
make
911.
911s anymore, or like all these rear engine ones are 911s.
Are the same vehicle.
They're kind of a 911
based on the same
right
protocol. But yeah, so is a 911. If you call a 911 and a 996 the same car, is that interchangeable?
One.
Of the same year?
That's a newer. When you say that, that tells me I know what a 996 is.
Yeah,
that's a water cooled late model, newer 911. As far in my mind,
like a GT3, right? Is that a 996?
No, 996 is a 996.
Okay,
because they make multiple GT3s.
Yes, they do.
Yeah,
but I thought it was based on the same platform.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
I think they are based on the same platform.
Yeah,
anything with the rear engine flat six is based on the same platform.
Yeah.
And to me, that's a 911.
You got some studying to do on that.
Rob, there was one guy recently who really tried to fix this problem and was very adamant about making it very simple for cars to say, this is what this is, and this will always be. It won't change numbers, won't change letter, it goes. Okay? And this man spent loads of time trying to go through this.
I hear some bullshit coming on.
I feel like it's Enzo Ferrari.
He started making this company, and you know him, you talk about him all the time, and you love his cars. He loves the fact that Elon Musk picked 5 cars.
Fuck off.
I quit.
Fuck right off.
I'm going to mute him. Is that okay?
Yeah, just turn his mic off.
No, but it's true. He did make it so, and that's what more car companies should do.
He named his vehicles, and that's fine. That's great.
But it's very easy to say this is a Model 3. And
Yes.
and that's what it should be, a Ford Focus.
They have 6.
Here's a Dodge Charger. It shouldn't be which model, which
serial number is on this vehicle.
Yeah.
XB7.
It's
is that
frustrating.
the Charger?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it's super frustrating because I don't know. A lot of people refer to the vehicles, whatever it is, whether it's Japanese market or whatever, by some serial number of a motor that's in it. And I'm like, I don't know.
Or a chassis number,
is.
an AE86.
Yes.
It's like, what is that?
I don't know what that is.
AE86
It's a Toyota.
Toyota Corolla from the Japanese market. Otherwise,
and then you throw a GR on front of it, and you're like, that's really cool.
That's the Gazoo racing stuff.
I think that means high performance.
Yes, it does.
That's what I understand.
But then you got for example, the Mazda Miata. You got the AX and the
there's no Miatas anymore.
NA and
it's the MX-5s.
MX-5s. Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of frustrating.
I don't like it.
Can we just go by year and model? And then you can get granular of what motors in it, what transmissions in it. Yeah, but nobody does it anymore.
It'll get the point across. Yep.
Right?
Yep.
I mean, but if they're talking about, it's a SA197, I'm like, what year?
This needs to be taught in
with an
schools.
S54
Need to know.
Sure. Yeah, whatever that is. I don't know. Is that a 5 liter or 4.6? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It's kind of a rant, but I'm just like, good Lord, man.
Luckily, a lot of this newer stuff I'm not interested in. So I don't really care that BMW has done all this stuff because all the BMWs are kind of crappy now.
Okay.
And all those engine categories.
Speaking of newer stuff,
I'm not interested in.
John, I got to know, what do you think of the way Dodge is going with all their vehicles?
Oh.
You heard about
Which way do you think that is, Grant?
Well, because Dodge right now, for example, the new Charger, the new entry level, they're getting rid of the V8s. They're going with straight 6 twin turbos.
Yeah.
And the highest trim is going to be a all-wheel drive electric.
Yeah, I'm not really I'm not really interested in this brand new stuff, so I don't really have much comment. I don't think it's anything I'm interested in.
When was it the point with Dodge did it lose your interest? Like after the Hellcats? Even before the Hellcats?
The new Challenger.
When Shelby was involved in the 90s
when they started
turbo?
No, I'm into the Chargers. I like the Chargers and the Challengers with the big motors. Those are fun. Jim and I took some classes in those things, and they're a good car. I mean, they're
I had
it's
one
a regular car.
They're actually a good driving car.
Yeah. We took classes with the big built ones, and
I'm not a fan of what they're doing with it. I mean, I get that some of the Ford, for instance, they put the Eco V6 twin turbo in a Ford GT.
Yeah.
And it's fast as shit and produces a lot of horsepower, but to me, it's artificial horsepower because it's turboed.
Should have been a V8 twin turboed.
I'm not a fan of the turbos or superchargers. Don't like them. I prefer the naturally aspirated, that to me is real power. When you put a turbo or a supercharger on something, it's artificial power.
But I get
You're forcing it, right?
Yeah. I get it if it's a Halo car and you're trying to show what your company could do and trickling it down. I understand that. What I don't understand is you take that same engine and now it's in the Raptor. You take the same engine, it's in the basic F-150.
That's basic. That's economics, right? It
makes that motor cheaper.
Yeah, but if it's your Halo car, it should be like...
Exactly.
Your Halo car should be like, this is what is here. Everything trickles down. Like it should have been a 5.0 twin turbocharged and show what the a twin turbo can do, and then trickle that down to the V6, V8, 4 cylinders.
Yeah, I don't know. I think for those classic cars, let's keep them that way.
Okay,
stop putting smaller motors with bigger turbos in them. They're satisfying EPA stuff. I know what they're doing.
But if we're talking classic cars, the 90s had turbos. That was the beginning of it.
Don't care.
But that's when the classics started coming.
I'm just
25 years.
Giving you my opinion. I don't care. Okay. I don't like
his interest is the NA cars that make horsepower now.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm a fan of the NA.
Yeah. That's it's purely my opinion, and a lot of people will argue with it. So I don't care. Whatever. I
agree. The torque is not there on the newer cars. Mm-hmm. Even I've got a newer GTO with the LS motor in it, and it doesn't have the torque. It doesn't have bottom end power. I mean,
is that the 6 liter?
Yeah. I mean,
like 2004,
and everybody thinks it's
something
6.
Like
4 was the LS1.
Oh, okay.
But they just don't have the bottom end power. Like you get used to a Viper, and
it's got grunt.
It's got so much bottom end power. Yeah. Who was at it the last autocross? A month ago. God, the fireman. He had a Z. I call him the fireman. I don't know his name. But
Carl Ag.
The black, he had the black Corvette.
He had a Z06.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Matt. It's Matt.
No,
Matt Bradley.
No, not Matt. No.
Okay.
No.
Talking about Derek?
I know Matt. But
Don?
No, they got a red one.
This guy's had Vipers
probably
his
Carl.
whole life.
Carl's a firefighter.
Anyway,
Retired?
No.
I don't know if he's retired.
No.
Anyway, he showed up. He's got I never seen it before, a Z06. And he goes,
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Who are you talking about?
It's
kind of short,
Craig Fander.
stocky guy.
It's Craig.
Craig. Yeah, Craig.
Okay.
Yep.
He it's the first time I've ever seen anybody say he's got a Z06 there. He goes, man, this thing has no torque. And it's like, man, it's the first time I've ever heard that. And it's only because he's used to his Viper. But that Z06,
Okay.
he goes, has no bottom end power.
Oh.
And there's a reason why everybody turbocharges LS motors, because they don't have any freaking power. I mean, I've got one and it's like unbelievably low powered. It's supposed to have 400 and
So you got to drive at the top end. Like Liger doesn't have any
Yeah, you
bottom
do.
power. Like that's why I'm always redlining and banging off.
You do. But if you just drive that car around, you'll think you have a very slow car unless you finally bonsai that thing up to high RPM and shift it to the top end. It's like, okay, it has something going on. But otherwise, you're driving a freaking slug.
Yeah.
Unless you wind the shit out of it like it's a 4-cylinder, it's, then again,
I think it's all
I'm
in what you're
comparing it
used
to
too, because I would disagree with that. I mean, my car has been breathed on some, so
right.
it might
what you
not have
compare
a
it.
ton of low end torque, but I don't think it's lacking either.
Right. It's what you compare it to. Like I'm used to my
Right.
Viper and I'm used to my
Right.
diesel truck.
I mean, your
And,
Viper,
and 440 Chryslers, they have so much power at 2,000 RPM.
right, yeah, yeah. It's absolutely what you
2,500.
compare it to.
At
for
3,000 RPM, it's full power.
Mm-hmm.
If you're at 3,000, man, you just floor it. But
Yeah.
I don't know,
Okay.
we got off.
Yeah.
we
No.
got off this.
I don't even know where we were.
Yeah. But I was
that's fine.
surprised to hear that guy say that. It's like, man,
Yeah, that's interesting.
I told him, I go, you're the only person I've ever heard that from, and it's
Right.
only because you come from a Viper.
Right. Well, now I need to drive a Viper.
Have you never driven a Viper?
I've never.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. That's really surprising.
I'll get mine going.
Not really. But
Really?
yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. I'm happy to jump in. That'd be great.
Hmm.
So that talking about the motors and that kind of stuff, and Grant had brought this up to me earlier. Like American manufacturers are changing from SAE to metric.
Oh, yeah. They
Yeah.
They
did,
have.
they did it a while ago.
Yeah, and probably everything. Really, right now
Almost.
is there anything that isn't,
I keep
isn't
finding
changed?
I keep finding on some Chevys they're SAE. Right, Jeremy?
So some of the things that I've worked on recently, I've had to put both too.
Yeah.
I've noticed on the aftermarket section, like you buy parts for my cars personally, right? The Chevys.
Mhm.
The aftermarket stuff you buy is SAE, but the rest of the car from the factory is metric.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of sucks.
If it's
Honestly.
I found out if it's an American manufactured product, it's
Yes.
going to be
It's
SAE, even if I
yes.
buy it for my Miata.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. And I buy a lot of American manufactured aftermarket product,
Mm-hmm.
and it's all SAE. But
Mhm.
yeah, like I said, the standard on my car is metric. Even though it was built in the U.S., it's metric.
Oh yeah, they switched over like
Yeah. Oh, it was a long
about
time ago.
30 or 40 years ago.
Yeah. But yeah, my question, I guess, was: do you still find, besides the aftermarket, do you still find SAE stuff on new cars or newer cars?
I
Even
always,
in the 10-year range.
I always thought my Vipers, 2010, yeah. I always thought that they were half metric and half SAE.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I talked to the dealership and they go, no, they should all be metric. It's like, okay.
They're like, well,
okay,
some of this doesnst really fit right.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's
Yeah.
what I thought.
Yeah.
I think
But,
some of those guys are probably tossing SAE stuff on there because it's substantially cheaper to buy still.
Is it
Standard
really?
is really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I
I
don't know.
went and bought some metric
Could be where you're
screws for something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah.
I was at Portland Screw,
Tacoma screw.
Tacoma Screw.
Yeah.
I
One of
was
those cities with screws.
Yeah, I was
Mhm.
I was there. It was their big, screw shop or whatever, and the similar sized metric stuff
Mm-hmm.
was like almost $1 more.
Really?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, it was weird.
Per bolt?
Yeah, I mean, I was
Buying
looking at
you buying
good.
stainless.
I was looking at good size, grade 8
Yeah.
bolts,
Yeah.
and the metric stuff was more expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah, it happens.
Do you remember you guys are younger than me, that's for sure. I remember 1978 and stuff like that in high schools when they're saying, "Oh, we're switching over to metric next year." Remember that?
I was going to ask you how was that kind of change, because you grew up in wrenching.
That was the big talk. It's like, okay, we're gonna,
and it never really happened, but
not well. It didn't switch over completely, like they said.
Right.
But I remember, I was working in dealerships in 78 and 79 and 80, and I remember that like Cadillacs, you'd pop the hood, and they're switching over, and every metric would be blue, so you could see by opening the hood, all these blue bolts. Those are metric. But then they never did the full switch over.
Yeah.
So I believe they either should have done it or not done it. I mean, this half and half
it's kind of rough. But at the same time, I wonder if there is...
Makes your toolbox bigger.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
for sure. I mean, I've got everything, right? But
2 rollaways, 1 SAE, 1
and
metric.
you keep going back to the toolbox because this wrench doesn't quite fit right. You're like, it should be tighter than that. But
I had that problem today. I literally had to bring a tool bag with both sets of metric and SAE because I didn't know what I was going to be using.
Yeah. That's a little bit frustrating that way.
Because on construction equipment, a lot of it is SAE, but there's times where, again, aftermarket parts, it's metric.
Oh. So it's kind of the opposite.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I took off an old 80s alternator from a backhoe, SAE, put on the new one from...
metric.
Yeah, from a case, and it's metric.
Wow. Yeah.
What, when you were wrenching as a mechanic, though, John, and you kept seeing that, things were transitioning over to metric more than SAE, was it really just a slow transition of, okay, I'm buying these tools coming through, or was there times I'm just buying a whole set and throwing in?
Oh, no. I'm the type who the Snap-on guy was coming by every Thursday. So you just bought what you needed. And me, I would just buy what was on sale because I was going to buy. So it's like, what's on sale?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to buy it anyway, so might as well get it.
If it's on sale, I'll buy it. And otherwise, I need this, you buy what you need.
Yeah.
But if you don't need something, then I'm going to buy what's on sale.
So I'm funny when I'm at a Harbor Freight grabbing, whatever it is I'm grabbing, I buy both sets because I know I'm going to need that other set at some point.
Yeah, because it's going to replace the one you just broke.
No, like the little tool bag that I take up to the track, right?
Yeah.
When I went and bought the socket set, I made sure I bought the metric and the standard.
Yeah.
And I bought the deep well metric.
If you're stocking up, I agree. Because you just never know what
at Harbor Freight.
That is frustrating.
Yeah, I mean,
that too. It is frustrating that you have to get both though, because you don't know what you're going to run into. You can't guarantee that you're only going to get SAE.
That's my big.
Or you're only going to work on metric.
That's my big complaint is I have 2 sets of everything.
Yeah. And then you're under the car and you're like, this does not fit. I have to go back to the toolbox again. How many trips? Oh my God, I hate that.
Or was I right or was I wrong?
Right, yeah.
I think the worst is when you got to buy a big version of it, like an 1.5-inch wrench, or get a 32 millimeter wrench or whatever. That's when it gets rough.
Yeah.
Because then you're like, I don't have one. And then you got to go to the store and be like, do I spend it on the SAE big wrenches and sockets in the back? That's when you do your research and find out which it actually is.
Sure. Yeah.
I do have...
On that big stuff, I'm getting a tape measure out. Yeah. I'm going to measure that thing.
I will say all of my big stuff, anything over 1 inch is all standard. I have a 1 inch
I think we talked about that before. It's a little harder to find that big metric stuff.
Yeah.
And besides,
it's there.
The amount, it is, but the amount of play in those bolts and the wrenches is, it's tight enough that you can get away with it. Yeah, because you've got enough surface area. You're not going to strip that thing out. Yeah. Typically,
sometimes
if you do, you've got some serious muscles.
Sometimes, sometimes it's nice to have the choice of fitting. Like even no matter if it's metric or I you know what I hate more than anything in tools? My pet peeve: 12-point sockets, 12-point wrenches.
Yep. 100%.
That is, if you don't need a 12-point, you should not be using it. So that means you've got to have 6-point everything.
What about Torx?
Yeah, I agree.
I hate Torx because I either strip the bolt or break the bit I'm using.
I like Torx better than Allen.
I think so.
Yeah, I don't know.
If I'm putting any torque on it at all, I would rather.
I think a Torx is a better mechanical system. Torx is harder to strip out.
True. The main thing that I keep running into Torx is they use like on a 10 or 15, super tiny. Yeah. And then when they're torqued over, they just snap really easy. Yeah. Whereas an Allen, I feel like, anytime I'm putting a bolt in with that or
You shouldn't be putting that much torque on those, though.
Well,
I mean, they're so small.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is like with an Allen, I never find it that, but like if it comes from a factory or something, that's what the torque. They're always over torqued.
Factory torques are on there, aren't they?
Yeah.
Because they use a rattle gun to put them in. Just slam them
and
in.
factory sealant or thread locker.
Thread lock.
Yeah.
Oh, that's rough. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Seatbelt bolts, man, they're on there, aren't they? Or not? Yeah, seatbelt. Those big.
Yeah.
torques.
No. The seatbelts have it. And
Those are a bitch.
Yeah, and I had some issues with that at one point.
Yeah.
There was something else I was going to say on that topic, and I've
It's
completely forgot it. Yep. We went so sideways that now I don't remember it.
You had a grab moment. That's okay.
No, yeah. Well, I have brain damage moments.
I just hate stripped out. I hate messing up the head of a bolt. I just don't want any marks on there. You know, I'm just kind of a weird that way. You know, like I replace a lot of bolts.
What it was. Before I forget.
Okay,
So I feel like sometimes on the bolts, depending on the manufacturer of the actual hardware, like if it's cheaper, it doesn't fit the same. Because you're getting a varied size of head bolt.
Yeah.
So like it's supposed to be metric, but actually standard fits better.
Yes.
You know?
Absolutely.
So,
and you know it's the wrong size because it's too tight almost.
Right.
But that's what you want.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd rather.
Yeah. I like the option.
That's true.
It's got to be a 6-point though.
So bad.
If you're running with a 12-point, you're just going down the wrong road, right?
Agreed. Yeah. I mean, there's a place for 6 points if you're in a tight spot and you have
if you need it.
Yeah. All right. Did I say 12-point? Anyway, that's what I meant. Agreed. So you were going to say?
Okay, so speaking of tools, I know I was talking to Jeremy about this. I only found out the name and I wanted to tell you guys if you haven't heard about this. Have you ever heard of metal stitching or metal locking?
Yeah, that means a few different things. Are you talking with pins?
With kind of
in cast iron?
Yeah.
Yeah, a crack.
Yep, exactly.
I learned that. I've done that with a tapered pin. I learned that.
I've never
explain.
Yeah, so
fixing a crack.
Yeah, so
okay.
What it is if you're trying to fix cast iron, it's a way to fix cast iron with a permanent fix without having to weld.
Okay.
A big crack in the block.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so what I found out what it is a system where you drill holes at both ends of the crack, and you have a certain system where it starts spacing out holes along the crack as you drill it through, and you put in these type of screws that the head comes off of them. And it's a specially designed type of screw where it's more
tapered. Yeah,
tapered. And bolts it in, and then you go in and then fill the space again with other screws until it's completely filled. And then you have...
You're overlapping.
Yes, exactly. Overlap.
So you have a crack, and you drill a hole at each end, and you drill one, you tap it, and you screw in this tapered thing. Tapered
screw?
Yeah, it's like a pipe plug, except it's really tapered. You screw it into like a certain torque, and then you cut the head off, grind it down, and you drill it again. This hasn't been done in probably like 50 years.
Yeah, but
right next to it?
Yeah, it's just like boom, and you're overlapping.
Okay. Interesting.
I've never heard of it until someone talked about doing it on a Duesenberg engine, and they didn't even know what it was called, and I had to look in the comments, and someone got back to me yesterday. One person out of 100,000 people didn't know.
It really doesn't get done it's so old school.
Yeah, but it seemed fascinating, and especially if you don't have a welder or you don't want to try to get again,
you're not going to do it on your LS block. Come on.
Why not?
No.
Okay.
No.
If it's cast iron.
No.
Okay.
LS block is not cast.
You said Duesenberg, right?
Yeah, it was Duesenberg.
What's a Duesenberg?
Cast iron.
Cast.
How old?
I don't know, long.
1900s.
They make those still?
But it doesn't. The reason I brought this up is because you can use it on. I've seen on from research on differentials. You can. It's used on cruise ships on bigger blocks. When they're out.
It's the old school way to do it. We don't know this now, but I got taught this in school, like in college when I was 18.
Oh wow!
By an old guy. And back then, you didn't replace stuff. And now you replace it if you can.
Well, yeah. In my industry, John, I'm in heavy construction, and we never replace anything. We have to fix it. I mean, I built a full boring machine within 2 weeks with most stuff I machined in-house.
Plus, let's say you had that crack in the block. You could fix it right there, right then.
Exactly.
And have it fixed in a day. Otherwise, you take that motor out, and it's going to cost you $20,000.
Exactly.
So it's a real fix. It's a good fix.
But yeah, why I wanted to bring it up is again, I haven't heard of it, and it feels like there's stuff that there's certain tools and technology and trade that's not being passed on to the next generation.
Yeah, because I think the reason for that is there's better things came along to accomplish the same thing. I mean, I'm sure there's a place for that, and maybe it could still be used if you are aware of it. You know, if that technology or that method was passed along to you, right? But in that amount of time, since that was a thing in the early 1908, right? There's been a better way that has come up.
John, have you heard of a better way for cast iron?
You can weld
not
cast
for
iron.
the well, if there's just a crack, but let's say you had a crack in a caterpillar that's this long. Somebody left some water in there and it cracked because it froze. To cast iron weld that thing, you'd have to tear the block out, disassemble the motor, take it to a cast iron welder. He'll weld it. You're going to put it back together. We're going to talk $25,000, whereas you could do this for $50. So
if you know
back
how
in
to do it,
but like you said, it's there's newer ways to do it. And like even my instructor, some guy we had all these students. One guy goes, "Why don't you just replace that head?" It's like, well, you're in college here to learn something. So this is how you do it. And in the Depression, for example, that's the only way things got fixed.
Yeah.
There was definitely a cost associated with those things.
The better way now is, so let's say you have to pay someone $150 an hour, even if 8 hours, and you go buy a new cylinder head, you can buy a new block, you can buy LS motors for cheap.
Right.
But it's still a great fix.
Yeah.
And
not saying that it's not a viable fix, but I think that's why those technologies weren't really passed along, because something else comes along and replaces it.
That big weld that you talk about, you're going to distort your cylinders.
Oh, yeah.
So now, how's that going to work? Things like that.
Yeah, but not necessarily. They've learned how to do those things without the distortion,
Oh, right. So the big weld, though, if you're going to weld a block up, a cast iron weld, you're going to just have to remachine it afterwards, probably.
Because you have to heat it up really hot.
Well, you have to heat it first and then weld it.
Yeah.
Yep. And then remachine it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're looking at two different things, though, right? So, if you're not going to do that to your LS motor, but you might to a $50,000 Caterpillar motor, or,
for sure.
Or to $20 million fucking
or
diesel that's in your boat.
Yeah. Well, like in the construction industry, that seems like a really useful skill to have. Say you've got like the... I don't know, like a bucket that's cracked and you need to fix it that way. Or, differential's a big one.
What kind of bucket?
And I'm thinking
big machinery.
Yeah, big machinery.
Like a Traco bucket? Yeah, you're not going to plug that.
Yeah, true. But I know, I'm just speaking
in general terms.
Yeah.
But there's definitely a fix that'd be better than like how John was saying is, because you can weld. You can do other things. What's the cost versus this?
You're not going to weld that. Right. You're not going to weld that engine in the chassis.
Yeah,
you're not going to weld it in the chassis.
Or even if you're on the field, shut down the crew, wait, have it shipped. Specialized mechanic come out there with the welder and start stripping out the engine and do that. Or let's say a transmission start. That has a big crack in it.
It's The metal pinning is the great way to go in a certain application. It's the number one thing.
So let me ask you about that metal pinning too. It sounded like the drilling, tapping, the screws are specialized.
Yeah, it's tapered.
Understood. So how readily available is that?
Very readily available.
Those are?
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't sound like just any old tapered screw. Though.
No, but I mean, if you wanted them, you could get 1,000 of them here by tomorrow.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, on Amazon.
It's very common in certain applications. I mean, machine shops. I worked in machine shops. There's a lot of procedures you've probably never even heard about.
Oh yeah.
But it's common in a machine shop.
Okay.
And as far as fixing cracks, there's probably only you can replace it, you can weld it, or you can pin it, or you can try some JB weld, but that's not going to work.
Yeah.
But so it's just whatever's the best thing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Learn something new every day.
Yep.
That's a great way to fix a crack.
So I want to bring this up because this was one of Grant's other thoughts.
I have a lot of thoughts.
And I'll let you explain it. I'll tell you which one it is.
Okay. I'm gonna grab
no, that's fine. It's the mid-engine Viper.
Okay. What's your guys' thoughts on, because everything evolves. Everything goes to a new type of model. What is the best way to do it? Corvette's the best example. They perfected the Corvette as best they can with the front engine to the C7. And the only thing to make it faster was migrating the engine to the back.
Yeah.
If Dodge was to do the same thing with the Viper, if it ever came back, if it made the route to a mid-engine, would it still be considered a Viper? Would it still live up to the same expectations? Or be that such a departure that wouldn't be the same car?
Well,
they did it to Corvette.
They did a Corvette, but there's some people
was
who
that a
don't.
success?
Some people don't see it as a Corvette. That's like the Lamborghini Corvette.
It does
You
look
know.
like a Lambo.
But if you had a Viper
Or
with a
a
V10 in the
McLaren.
back, or even if, let's just say it was a V10, let's just say this is next Viper and it's a twin turbo V6. Let's say your next Viper and it's all electric. What takes the essence away from a Viper not making a Viper anymore?
I think Big Electric would take it away for sure.
Yeah.
Seems
I think
like
that long hood, not having that long hood in the front there.
Yeah,
would
because
make
you'd
it-
have to move the cockpit so far forward.
Oh, yeah.
It'd be like the Corvette. It would be like a Corvette.
Yeah, right. Then it's a totally different car with the same name.
They've talked about that. That is.
Yeah, they
Really?
did have a
Mid-engine?
mid-engine. There was a mid-engine
Yeah.
concept Viper.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was what, the 2000 somewhere around there they had that?
Yeah, it's gonna be a V8 or something like that.
I thought it was still the V10 they had. It's
Yeah,
silver
what
though,
I've seen.
right?
It's just talk, It's,
Yeah.
it's all about.
Well, they talked about it for the Corvette for how many years before it actually happened?
Oh, hey, probably longer than you've been alive. I've been reading about the mid-engine Corvette since the 70s.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing all the pictures that we're going to, in 2 years, this is what it's going to be like. This was like in 1978.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it just kept on. So,
Kicking the can down the road.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think though, if by switching a Viper to a mid-engine though, that would make it better or worse?
For
Depends
who?
Or
on the
completely
weight
different.
distribution.
Completely different. It's a totally different animal. at
It's a
that
different
point, right?
animal, but I mean,
Yeah.
like you're having a lot of weight in that car now centered, whereas a Viper you have in the front, you can, you can predict where it's going to, the back end's going to go.
It's 50-50 weight distribution in a Viper.
Oh, it is? I didn't know that.
Currently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it'd be a little bit more in the back. The best distribution is 60-40. So 50-50 is not even what you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
It's just what everybody talks about because it's so far from even being 50-50.
Mm,
I mean, all my muscle cars are 60 in the front,
yeah.
40 in the back.
Well, how come you'd rather have them 60-40?
Huh?
How come you'd rather have them 60-40?
That's just what I've read is the ultimate weight distribution. You got the power in the back.
Mm-hmm.
So 60%. The fastest cars are 60% in the back, 40 in the front.
Probably depends on the application, though, right?
Well, I'm talking supercar, high performance, lap time.
Okay. I mean, I wouldn't have predicted the Corvette as actually doing the rear engine, right?
Yeah.
Mid-engine.
They would have called it the Fiero. They would have renamed it. I mean, Drew, a mid-engine Corvette is a Fiero.
Or a Ferrari or a McLaren.
Didn't they reverse engineer a McLaren to make the Corvette?
Yeah.
No, it was a
That's what I
Ferrari
heard.
458 is what they used.
No,
Now,
McLaren.
there's so many rumors of what car they used that nobody really knows.
It was a 458.
Still looks like a Lambo.
Says you,
I'll
and
show you
says
the
10
articles.
million other
I'll
people
show
say
you.
it's a McLaren
Okay.
because I have the same articles for that.
Oh, then we're going to be fighting on articles.
I don't really give a shit.
Yeah.
It's not
Unless
the
you
point.
talk to the engineers, you're never going to know.
Oh, we can get one on the phone right now.
It
Here,
does
just give me
not
5 seconds.
matter.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. That is not part of the conversation.
Yeah.
So, anybody that says a Viper mid-engine is not going to be the same car, I kind of agree. It's not. I mean, the Corvette is now a new iteration of the Corvette.
Yeah.
It's not the same car. They've changed it. They've changed the platform. They've changed the way it works, the way it looks, everything.
I feel
I don't know if it's good or bad. I have my opinions of it, especially the base model versus the Z06 and the
E-Ray.
Yeah.
And the Z01.
Right. So they're all really different. There's no comparison, right?
I think there's no comparison. Even like the Gen 5 Viper, like Jim's got,
Mhm.
to me, that is so far from what I look at as a Viper because I'm used to the Gen 2s.
Yep.
And so even it's same configuration, but I mean,
Right.
what a different car.
Yeah,
I mean, so to me,
active traction control, active aero.
yeah, you said, would a Viper be would it be a Viper if it was mid-engine?
Yeah.
Well, I don't even know if
they can call it
I don't
that,
even know if the Gen 5. I don't.
So,
that's not even. That's
would
not,
you call
it doesn't appeal to me. The Gen 5s.
Yeah.
That doesn't appeal
Really?
to me. I don't like the way they drive.
Really?
I've driven them. I've tracked them. I've raced them. I've beat on them. And it's like,
Is it because there's too many nannies or what makes
Well,
That's a lot of it.
I was
Yeah.
going to ask you. So is the Gen 5 more refined?
It's like a
Quote,
Mercedes.
unquote.
It's like a Mercedes Benz compared to a race car.
Do you think
My Gen
yeah,
2 is like a race car.
No, I get it. I get
Yeah.
it. That was my exact feeling between the C6 and the C7. Like
Yeah.
the C7 is so much more refined and Mercedes-esque. I mean, it's not really Mercedes, but it's smooth and it's
Yeah. The C6
super controlled, and the C6 is more
like a assault rifle,
visceral, and more violent.
Absolutely.
So, but I like that. That's and that's
me too.
Like we talked about our favorite cars, F40. I like that. I want that feeling. I want that connection. I want that. Engagement and
it feels like a pure race car, meant for one thing.
More violent,
It's not meant for.
I like that.
My Gen 2 is
not that I would turn down a C7, mind you, because I think it's a great car.
Yeah,
but it's more refined.
Yeah. Supposedly they're better and better every year, and I'm not going to say they're not, but I don't like the newest one.
Right.
The Gen 5 Viper. If I wanted one, I'd have one of those. I like the Gen 4, even though I like my Gen 2 even more than the 4.
Yeah. Interesting.
It's a real, feels like a race car, and that's what I want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great
If I want a luxury car, I got a Cadillac,
Sure.
I don't jump in a Gen 5 Viper.
No.
Do you think the Gen 1s then were too raw?
Have you driven a Gen 1?
I have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you think?
I like them.
Yeah.
And they're completely different than a Gen 2.
Mm-hmm.
No windows. The feeling is kind of like a Gen 2, but even more raw. And I know that the suspension mounting points weren't quite in the right spot for optimum handling.
Sure.
And it was as hard as a Gen 2 is to handle. Gen 1s are they go in the ditch.
Yeah.
A lot of them are gone.
Wow.
For me, that feels like a car I want to drive one day because of that experience.
I agree. I would like to experience that as well. Yeah. The more
it may
raw,
not have the most horsepower. It may not have the most horsepower, but it's definitely one that's just an experience.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm with you.
If you start to lose it,
cool as shit.
If you start to lose it, though, it's harder to get back.
Yeah.
Gen 2.
Just because of the geometry and how it was built and styled. I mean, it was their first foray into that vehicle, so everything wasn't dialed in yet.
They were using a lot of truck parts off the assembly line.
I had heard that.
Oh, it's true. It's true. It's got cast iron exhaust manifolds.
Oh, wow.
It's got stamped steel control arms front and rear off the Dakota.
Oh, that's
It's got Dakota spindles.
Wow.
That's why we got 6 bolts.
Yeah.
It's Dakota parts.
That's funny. That is pretty funny. You were going to say something else?
My teacher used to tell me with the Gen 1s, anything over 120 miles an hour in the car, the front end would start actually lifting on them.
Oh, not just Gen 1s. A Gen 2, like the RT10, they just start lifting.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Jim, it's not just Gen 1.
Okay.
Aerodynamics, Jim.
Too much air under the car?
Yeah. Just like old cars, any old car. My 70 CUDA, man, you get going.
It floats.
That thing gets, it's so high off the ground. I mean, it just will lift up like 8 inches at high speed.
Huh.
What's the fastest you've gone in that car?
In what car?
In the CUDA.
155.
Okay.
In a small block. A small block will go faster than a big block.
Yeah.
For some reason.
Weight?
Actually, my big block weighs less.
RPM?
I don't know. I guess RPM and just power band.
Yeah.
But 150, 155. And at that point, the suspension is all the way up.
Yeah.
You got like a foot.
That's kind of scary.
Oh,
sketchy.
Totally sketchy.
Yeah.
Totally sketchy.
Not good.
No, you start floating around.
I think for me, I really want to get, because is an RT10 that much different than a Gen 1? Like a Gen 2 RT10 versus a Gen 1? Because like the one I was looking at was, I think it's a 97 RT10. On visually looking at it and stuff, it looks almost identical to a first gen.
Yeah.
But
it's quite different.
Is it?
Yeah, suspension.
Just the body's the same, right? But the suspension's
body's pretty much the same.
Okay.
But the suspension's completely different. Completely. The mounting points are completely different. The motor's better.
Okay.
Everything's better. It's got ABS on 97. That's a big deal.
Oh, I didn't know
That's
that.
like the big deal is you want ABS or non-ABS.
Okay. So if you want a Gen 1 looking Viper but still want to have the experience of a Gen 2, that's the best year.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. ABS. That's the big thing.
Don't want bald spots on your tires.
No.
You going to start searching for one?
I have been.
Have you?
Yeah. But it's something like, you got more project cars to get. house first.
Yeah.
But definitely a Viper is one I want to get in
One of
my
these
collection.
days.
But
He'll get that right after his wife.
Yeah. I was going to say, you gotta.
I think you better get that first.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Scale down.
Otherwise, it ain't happening.
Yeah.
Scale down on your project so you can get a family going, and then scale back up.
There you go. Yeah. Well, I don't know. It's pretty. After you start a family, it's pretty hard to scale back up.
Mm-hmm.
It really is.
Yeah.
That takes priority.
Just don't intermingle your
tough.
money.
Oof. That's a touchy subject. Grant, I didn't hit all of your topics. You good?
Let me double check on some of them.
All right.
Because I had a good amount and stuff.
Yeah,
But-
I was just looking at the time. We're running pretty close.
Yeah.
But, wanted to make sure that you were satisfied. And otherwise, I've got the final three.
I know what I want to talk
Coming
about.
down to the final three.
I'm excited
Okay.
about mine this week.
Oh,
I have one question also.
okay. Go.
Do it.
The Miata versus the Z06.
Ooh.
I mean, we all have to have confidence in our own rigs, and
Yes.
we do. You have confidence that I can't beat you in a
Yes.
Miata,
Yeah.
and
It's
I think it depends on the track.
It does make
It
a big
does.
difference.
Yeah,
It
I
really
mean,
does.
if it's
Now,
a big long track where
I
you're going
can
to
be
run
beat
your
by a
gears,
Miata. It's happened multiple times.
yeah,
I mean, it's driver. It obviously has to be a good car, but yeah, those cars fit through a course that a Z06 can't.
Right, right.
Effectively.
Yeah.
So it can happen. I'm not
Yeah.
saying it can't.
I talked to Adam about he's had like 4 fastest times of the day that I know of in like the last 5 years.
I've never had one ever.
I've had one on lap 1, and that's about it.
Yeah, first car on track.
You've never had a fastest time of the day?
Never had top time of day.
Wow.
No
Yeah.
kidding.
I was wondering about that earlier.
Yeah.
You've gotten close?
Yeah. Oh, I've been really close.
Second? You've been in second?
Yeah.
I've got a couple fastest times of the day, but not lately.
I've had fast time with other clubs, but not with the
Yeah.
Viper Corvette club.
Yeah. Depends on who's there.
So I asked Adam, I go, Adam, so what's the deal? How do you just, because he'll come in first, and the next day, like your track,
Yeah.
he might come in 10th.
Right.
And so I go, what exactly is it? And he goes, what it is it's pretty much equal competition. And then there's a couple places where the Vipers have to slow down and I don't. So there's just
Yes.
a couple little points of each track will allow, if there's like 2 places where he doesn't have to slow down,
Yeah.
he'll win.
Yes, absolutely. Because he
So,
can squeeze through
he can
some
squeeze
offsets that we have to lift, or
Yeah.
maybe even touch a brake a little bit, and he doesn't have to.
So
Makes a huge difference.
So if there's like,
I know what can stop a Miata. I know the course that can do it.
So you guys,
long runs.
have seen this
No.
Saturday's course coming up that Jim made, correct?
I did look.
Did you see that one? Do you think it's more a course that's going to be fit for higher horsepower cars because we have long stretches, or do you think it's going to be cars more for Miata because they can carry those speeds?
I didn't pay that close attention to it. I couldn't tell you.
so what do you think it is that'll shut down it's the acceleration
Start-stop.
and deceleration.
It's start-stop, yeah.
It's
So a tight element that a Miata has to slow down for.
and then has to accelerate
and then has to
afterwards.
accelerate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More horsepower is going to beat that.
His car is not very fast since he changed those gears.
Top speed, it's not. But if he can hold his momentum,
Oh yeah,
Oh, he's fast.
he's in
He's
good
got it.
shape.
Right,
As long as he doesn't have to shift a lot,
right.
But yeah, it's tight turnarounds and that kind of stuff. It's the acceleration where high horsepower will surpass.
Yes, I agree. Slowing it down and then speeding them back up.
Yep, that'll do it.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't always design a course that way. I design a course to flow and be fun. And if that plays against me, so be it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
So if you design a car,
I'm not going to go build a course just to my advantage.
I know some people do.
Oh, I absolutely know people that do that.
hey, when I had my Miata or when I had my M3,
Mhm.
oh yeah, I designed those courses.
I know you did. They sucked.
So if you
terrible.
if you try and
Not
design
for
the,
me.
Yeah, no.
if you try and design the course for a big heavy car, what is it? Just no cones and just as wide as the runway?
No, I don't like that. I like a challenge. I like it to flow, I like sweeping turns. I like
No shifting.
Well, I don't really have to shift much anyway. I shift once per
right,
much.
that's what I mean.
We try to stay out of third gear because that's really, we shouldn't be doing that anyway for our insurance and rules and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I like sweeping turns. Somewhat technical, but I don't want to have to slow down too much either.
See, I actually don't. I build a course. I would like a course that's more challenging.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would like to slow cars down, even though I have a car that I'm not trying to build for my own car.
Right.
I think I'd like more variance in the races.
Yeah.
I'd like to see more acceleration and shifting, and maybe I'm not against shifting more than once. I mean, this whole thing shift in the second and run the whole course that way.
That's just because of the speed of my car. I can't. Yeah. I can do turnarounds in second gear and accelerate to 92.
Yeah, but
I don't have to shift.
How about make your track even slower so you have to go down into low?
Nope.
You don't want to. You don't want to.
No.
I like going down the way. I like shifting. So like
I don't want to shift to first. That is way too slow.
Well, it depends on the car, I guess.
It is. I mean, we'd have to be down below 30 miles an hour to shift for me to want to shift into first. I don't want to do that.
Okay.
I was going to say, like, one of the most memorable courses last year is where we had that whole side that was like 3 hairpin turnarounds.
I hate those courses.
I like that one.
The 3 hairpin, that was my course with
I like that one.
With the pivot cone.
I like that one.
Tons of shifting there.
They're fine.
Yeah.
I can do it. I can still do it without shifting to first. I don't have to shift on first.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was heading down there. I'd get it down into low, pull the first 180, bang up the second, back down into low around the pivot cone. Then first to second again. Yeah. And I was doing a lot of shifting, but I don't necessarily think it was faster.
Why?
I agree. I tried the shift too.
It seems slower.
Really close to.
So it seemed fast when you're shifting a lot, but I don't think it was quicker.
So like for me, like for example, I have to shift a lot of times on my turnarounds because when it's so below an RPM level, anything under 2,500 RPM for Liger, it's essentially turbo lag without a turbo.
Yeah, I agree.
But why that course really stuck to me, the hairpin ones, is as a driver, you're so involved if you are shifting. And that's just more fun for me on the course because like you can put in second gear and drive, but
you have to shift on every course though.
I do.
Yes.
But like the courses that you wouldn't expect to be shifting, a lot of people don't. They keep it in second. And like you guys were just saying, I went that way. But even just having the ability to possibly experiment on that I think is fun. It's more engaging in the driver. People are talking about in the paddock what they're going to be wanting to do.
I don't hate it, but I just prefer to carry speed.
What do you think, Jeremy?
He doesn't drive. He doesn't know.
Yeah, but from an outside source,
if I'm racing, I don't want to shift.
Yeah,
I want to get to second gear or whatever, and I want to stay there.
I think the more that I go big tracks, and that's like you say, you like to carry speed. You should go do more big tracks, and you're carrying speed so much, and then. When I go to autocross, you're shifting massively. But in autocrossing, I would like to see more shifting.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I understand most people don't.
Yeah,
so that's why I'm not designing the tracks anymore.
Yeah, I just don't feel like people shifting into first is just.
Nah, you make great courses.
I like them. I got so many complaints over that course. It's like, why would I do that again?
Well, I'm giving you one positive review. That was definitely one of my favorite courses last year.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. We're heading into the final stretch here.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. What 3 cars are on your I really want to drive it someday, John?
What 3 cars? Or I want to own someday, maybe?
Drive. What 3 cars are on your list of I really want to drive?
It doesn't even need to be cars. It could be trucks. It could be boats. Vehicles. Spaceship.
I'd like to drive the RX-7, an FD.
Ooh.
What is it? The FD-70?
93.
Yeah.
No.
That's an FD is a 93.
FD. The FD chassis.
The 93.
I want to drive one or own one or something.
That doesn't seem out of the realm of possibility.
What?
It does not seem out of the realm of possibility.
Oh no! It's on kind of my list. I'd like the FD chassis.
Okay.
That's one. Okay, go ahead. I have to think about the second two.
We do this all the time.
Yeah, how long
this is on you.
Oh yeah. No,
this is why I sent you this question earlier.
How long has the FD been on your list for, John?
A long time.
Hey,
yeah.
Maybe.
Don't ask more questions. He's still trying to think of the other 2.
Yes.
What car would I like to drive?
Yeah. Everybody's got a list of the ultimates, right?
Is there like a supercar or hypercar that you're like, wow?
A C6 Z06.
Ooh.
You've never driven one?
I have, but not enough to really.
Yeah.
You know, like, let's say you let me drive your car. It's like, okay, wow, that was fun once. It's like, you know,
Right.
it's
Why
going
don't you
to
guys-
take. It's
I
going
get
to take me. I want to master this thing and see if I can drive. How well I can drive it.
Why don't you guys swap it for a weekend? You drive Viper and he drives a Corvette.
He probably wouldn't want to drive the. I mean, it'd be a challenge for both of us.
Yeah,
And
I mean, that would be
we'd both
exciting.
fail as a driver, kind
Right?
of.
Yeah, it
you
would
know?
not be good for
You-
points.
You would hate my car, kind of, because it'd be so different. And
Right.
and your car, I'd really like to.
You need to own one.
I know,
Yeah,
I know.
that's what it boils
And then
down
I could
to,
master
because-
that car.
Yeah.
So what car would you want to drive and master? The
Those are two solid
C6 Z06. That
Yeah.
would be one.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
FD,
That's solid.
The FD chassis.
One more.
Wow.
One more. Think outside the box.
A Lancia Stratus.
Ooh.
Yes.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
That is a
would
good
be
one.
that would be.
That would be pretty fun.
Is that one of the rally cars?
Yeah.
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 Nice.
Squirrely little things.
Well,
Yeah.
They seem like it. I mean, yeah, but
They would be. They're
Yeah.
meant to be squirrely.
Do
Yeah.
those have a V6 or V8? It's V6,
I think
right?
it's a
Oh,
V6.
yeah.
It's got a like a Ferrari V6 motor. in it.
Dino motor in it.
A Dino
yeah,
motor.
Dino.
Yeah.
It's got a Dino motor.
Yeah.
okay, cool. Next question. Very hard hitting
A
question.
very hard one.
You ask
Yeah.
hard questions.
What car is a hard no for you? Somebody's going to give it to you. Here you go. All you got to do is drive it.
That I wouldn't even
And you're
drive.
just like, no.
I wouldn't even drive.
Walking away.
A Tesla.
Yeah.
A Prius.
Yeah.
Good man.
What car would I not want to drive?
Those are good answers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, Elon Musk.
Yeah. Well, you know,
Sorry, buddy.
not everybody's a fan.
I'm a fan of what he's doing, but not his
Sort
car.
of.
The cars are. I hate them.
Yeah.
I've been in them. I've driven them.
Yeah.
You know, they're kind of a letdown. I'm not saying they're slow.
Yeah.
You know,
No. Nobody's going to say that, really. But,
what car would I not want to drive?
I mean, you said two.
Yeah.
You got
You
another
don't
one?
have to have three.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Last thing. Jeremy is very ready
You
for
want me
this.
to go for this?
Yeah.
No.
What's the coolest car related thing you saw this week?
Okay.
Oh,
Jeremy's going to bring his, and we will describe it for the listener. Jeremy,
Find the damn button.
it's one of those. Yeah.
There you go.
Next one over.
I know.
Two
what the,
over,
I know.
four
What
over.
I know what the
That one.
coolest car related, right?
Yes. Car related.
Or
All right. So explain
That
this
is
for the listener.
cool.
Okay. So, what do I want to call this?
That is
Kenworth.
It's a Kenworth W990. That's the base chassis, and
So-
basically what it is, it's almost a semi truck.
that is the coolest thing
It's
ever.
more of like a big semi flatbed
Camper.
that somebody put a camper on the
It looks
back
like
of.
a.
Can I say what that is?
Yeah.
That's what they should have brought to Jurassic Park 2. That is the
Stop it.
old
No, they did. They had one.
You're fired.
I'm-
No more Jurassic
That
Park.
thing is so cool. That is, you take it off road to a dangerous place. It is armored. It is bumpered up. It is
So-
so aggressive.
I'm going to tell you what I feel
Wow.
when I look at this, okay? It's an adventure rig.
Yeah.
But you could also put your car trailer behind it and go to the track for the weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got to get one of those. It's got dual snorkelers at the front.
I look at.
I tell you right now, I cannot afford that.
Really? Why not?
Mhm.
Oh, that'd be.
Let's-
The zombie
That's a
apocalypse.
$500,000 rig
The
right
zombie apocalypse is what pops into my mind.
Yeah.
Grant,
You know,
Yeah.
this is what I want to turn that Kenworth at your shop into.
Yeah, we should. Which one? Which KW?
The one with the
The old KW?
Yeah, the one with the one up against the fence.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. John, we got a lot of trucks
Behind
in
the
shop, but we got
containers.
a like 70s old school KW semi truck. Sit in the back with a crane on the back.
I want
But-
to take the crane off. I want to
Put a
this
flatbed
box
on it
the
and
back.
build that.
Yeah, I want to put this box on the back.
It's
So
And
it's a
then-
big camper, basically. There is a company that builds those, not as aggressive looking as this. And I'm drawing a blank on the name of it, but you see them at a lot of the bigger race events, like nationals and that kind of stuff. And they typically
International?
pull the stacker trailers, and that
like a
kind of
toter
stuff.
home.
Similar,
Like
yeah.
they're solid white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a toter.
internationals or
Well, there's another
Freightliner.
name for them too.
Yeah,
though.
KW.
I'm drawing a blank, but it's fine. No.
But it's cool that that's a KW, a Kenworth. That you really can't go wrong with a KW, except for the new ones. The emission systems aren't the greatest, but those trucks are built really well.
It's got to be all-wheel drive, so you got to get a somehow big differential out in front.
At least the back two axles.
Yeah, the back two axles lock like that. Like that's the stuff the trucks we use to go off road for our construction industry.
But the front, you got to drive the fronts.
Front might, but it doesn't necessarily.
Planetaries.
Yeah, I mean when you got those big axles in the back,
you're gonna get stuck. You're gonna get stuck with.
It's also got a winch in the front, so
you're gonna need it.
Yeah.
Nobody's driving off road with that thing.
No,
you're gonna be fighting off so many raptors with that thing.
Oh, stop! All right,
but that is.
I'm putting an ejection seat in.
Okay.
For Grant.
Yep. Boo! Out the fucking window.
John, you have one?
Yes. The coolest thing I saw was there's a company called Elmer Racing.
Okay.
And they build race motors, or they build motors from scratch, and they are done with their latest motor, and they're going to come up with a new engine to design, and they only come up with stuff that is like over the top, the best there is. And so they're building a supercar engine to beat all supercar engines.
Okay.
Which is like the top engine now is the I think it's a Cosworth motor for the
T50s.
Yes,
T50, yep,
the T60, I think it is. Okay, so that motor is like 4 liters, makes 1,500 horsepower. High, and so the new Elmer Racing motor is going to beat it in all categories.
Do you think it'll be better than the Valkyrie that Aston Martin came out with, or Mercedes?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
The Valkyrie is cool, right? But this motor is going to make more power than any of them, and it's going to be 1,000 cc turbocharged.
Yeah, we got some light problem. There we go. But that's cool.
That's the coolest thing I've seen is that new motor.
That's cool.
All right.
Yeah, it's
nice.
It's a V10 or V12, and it's 1,000 cc.
That's so cool.
1,000 cc V12.
Yeah, so the pistons are going to be about
tiny.
this
they're
big.
small.
It's going to spin like 20,000 RPM.
Yeah, it's super high.
Make about.
I want to hear that just sound.
It's going to make like 1,500 horsepower out of 60 cubic inches or something like that.
Yeah.
So 1,000 cc's is 60 cubes only.
Yeah. Wow.
Not much.
So that's the neatest thing I've seen.
Okay.
Do you want me to go or are you going?
I'll go because mine's silly, but I think it's cool. So I was driving around the other day and I saw a movie car, but not movie car. I saw a newer Camaro, like probably 2014-ish or whatever. Guy had wrapped it completely to be looking like the 1950s Batmobile with logos and everything, and it worked. I was shocked.
It worked on a Camaro, huh?
Huh?
It worked on a Camaro.
Yeah, it worked on the Camaro. It wasn't like one for one scale, but it was like they're trying to make a version of that kind of car.
Interesting, yeah.
And it was really neat.
Where'd you see it?
Driving down Columbia Boulevard.
Interesting.
I would have taken the picture, but I was driving, couldn't stop to take a picture.
Right.
But it's just something silly and something fun. I'm like, that's really cool.
Huh.
You know?
That is cool.
Yeah.
Right on.
He did call me and tell me about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right on. Mine comes from one of our listeners, actually. We're going to pull it up here on the screen. David Giddison. I hope I said it right. It's Gydesen is his last name. He sent me a video of his 1951 Henry J. It says he's got a 401 nailhead. I'm assuming that's the motor. I'm a little bit unfamiliar, so sorry, David.
That's a really cool body.
That is the coolest car I've seen this week, and it's friggin' awesome. I will share the video with you guys, and I'll post it up next after we drop this episode.
Hell yeah.
But very, very cool little car. For the listener, look up a 51 Henry J.
What is that an American car?
You know what?
It's a Ford.
Is it?
Yeah.
I am unfamiliar.
Yeah.
That's a popular old drag car. There used to,
I did see that when I was looking it up. There's a lot of them that are turned into drag cars. I'm assuming because of the short wheelbase and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Who made that? Let's find out whose it is. I thought it was a Ford.
Yeah. So awesome little video. Looks like his project car he sent me with it run. It's a cool car. Really cool car.
Can we see the video or is that?
Yeah, I'll share it with you guys here in a little bit. But anyway, that's what I got for this week. And David, thanks for sending that. I appreciate it.
Thank you, David.
Very cool.
Also, David, if you want to post that in the group, please share. That'd be great.
Wait a minute.
So-
wait. I have to say something before you leave specifically.
Hurry up.
Do it.
Well, I wanted to say, because real fast, Jeremy has to take off her helmet.
Oh, happy birthday.
Happy
Jeremy.
birthday, Jeremy.
All right.
Thanks, buddy.
Yay.
All right. So, yeah, we're going to close this thing out. I appreciate everybody listening. If you've made it this far, you're a rock star.
Woo!
This was a little discombobulated episode tonight, but
It was fun.
It was fun. It was good. John, thanks for being here.
Thank you for coming, John.
appreciate it.
Hey, thanks.
We will do this again. I'm sure you've got so much more information in there. If I can just pry it out of you.
I'll be more ready and a little bit more,
a little more in tune.
Yeah.
I'll have a lot more questions and topics.
I'm got these
Grant
headphones
Grant never runs
No.
behind on
We
questions and
were
topics.
on the whole subject. We were gonna start asking a bunch about the Italian Job,
on.
but me and Antonio never got to watch it last night. So that's coming on the next one. It's gonna be talking about the Italian Job and cars. and
We'll
movies.
have to do an episode about movies. I don't.
Okay.
I'm not like super stoked on it just because it's movies. It's a car project show, not a movie show.
Well, it's a car thing, so
Yeah.
So we're gonna highlight the Italian Job movie, not the latest one, but the old one from like 1970.
I saw the recent one.
Oh, the recent one, not even
I
worth
don't know, I thought it
watching.
was- I thought it was
It's
decent.
terrible.
Whatever. I'm not.
But I'm excited.
So anybody wants to look
That's
at the
fine.
Italian
So
one?
I know what you need to do is a special episode about movies and car
Movies?
movies and car movies.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
That would work.
That'd be
All
fun.
right. Anyway, everybody, thanks for listening
Thank
to
you.
Untitled Car Project. Give us a shout either on Facebook, in the group. It's all labeled Untitled Car Project. Same with our Gmail address. Probably we're out there more than I even know.
I just gotta say, if you guys are enjoying our podcast, tell a friend.
Yeah.
Tell them how much and you're enjoying this, and
Tell a friend and hit follow on the podcast. Really appreciate that.
yeah,
All right. Thanks.
appreciate
everybody.
all you guys.
All right.
Take
Bye.
care. Take care.